It's the short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. Short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. It's the short bus Saturday. Short bus Saturday.
The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you.
What's cracking, motherfuckers? It's your boy Gigi, you know what I'm saying? It's time for the Short Bus Saturdays, you feel me? Before I get things started though, man, shout out to all the haters out there. I know y'all lurking. It's, you know, lanes tend to lurk. You come in, man, please, man, you know, like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, man, go ahead and do that, man. And hit the bell notification button so you can stay on top of what's popping on the Green Gorilla channel, man. Like I always do, I want to give a shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel, man, to keep me motivated, man, and help me to pay the bills to keep the thing going. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let me start off with the Patreon peoples this time, man. Shout out to Robert Wicks, man. J.K., Chris Flowers, Christopher Burton, Daxby, J Live, Rashawn Phillips Sorrells, Keith Bass, Nick, Albert C., Dr. Ben Vincent, I'm the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Preserve Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, Momal, and the Sangwa. Big up to them people, man. Can't leave out Forrest Windu, David Curl, and Kevin Sanders, man. Shout out to them, man. And the Ethereal Plane, man. And also, shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel on YouTube. Third Coast X, Lamar Johnson, Raiz Muajib, Lee Ways, Roderick Jackson, Michael Ross, 63rd Samurai, Ben Cannon, Kenton, Sherlin Woe, and Passport OG. Big up to them, man. Big up to Brotherly Love, Devon Love Ridge, Ismael Samad, The Watcher, Barnolas, Hostile Adept, Red Pill Revelator, Lord Hamal, Kill the Game, Dr. Thunder, and BGS Ibmore. Big up. Big up to Jason Hales, Charles Finney, Interesting Thought, Bimrock, Blacksword 404, Until I'm Not, Apex Prowler, Naomi Gary, Jay Cleveland Green, The Toxic Masculinist, and Pulpit 28. Big up. Big up No Sleep, Broken Blade, Mr. King, Larry R, Seth Sun, Afro Troop TV, Show Me, Spain Man, Seventh Coast Dojo, Anthony Davis, and I'm Just Jules. Big up. Big up to An Honest Look, Ricky Dawson, Stefan, Julius Ferguson, True 7360, Mr. Me Too, Call for President, Gold Professor, AKs and Curtains in H-Town. Big up, man. Big up to Roguish to Billmonger, Adrian Thomas, Electrician 480, Binga, Cutting Up with the Jones, Zanco 1, D. Scott, Path Guy, Pete Rock, Aaron Peters, and Vincent Lindsay. Big up. Big up to Quiz the Poet, Black Wizard 80OS, Jaztec, Shadow Observer, Artisan MC, Troy Warren, Mrs. KP Bailey, Alan Wiley, The Face, Life of Commerce, and AI Apostle. Big up. Big up to Timothy Blewett, Jeffrey Speed, Marvin Battle Jr., Adam, Ignatz Mouse, Brian Peace, Black Uru, Dr. Trees, 77 Bass X, and Brian McMurray. Big up. Big up to Karen S., Charles Rogers, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean, Charles Gilmore, Greg, Barry Little, Mr. Valentino, Cameron 87, Dr. Rock, and Mark Swift. Big up. Big up to Odd Collar, Donald Watts, Coach Hotep, Old Soul Chief, Mr. Blue Collar, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Mr. Heat, Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Rasheed Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, A Double, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Kalan Jakala, and W. Pierre 1, man. Thank you so much, man. You deserve a round of applause. Thank you so much for supporting the Green Gorilla channel, man. I couldn't do it without you, man. I really do. Sincerely and honestly appreciate you guys, man. And ladies as well, you know what I'm saying? I know I don't draw too many lady members to the channel, but those I do, man, I really and truly appreciate it, man. Shout out to y'all, man. And if you want to support the Green Gorilla channel on an ongoing basis, which I think you should, here's how you do it, man. And I'll be back. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. All right, man, we back. You know, I'm GG, man, and this is the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chasers. And it's important for you to understand if you're coming here for the first time, bro, or if, you know, you got a problem with, you know, profanity, obscenity, and passionate speech.
The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Yeah, that's my disclaimer. So, you know, I know it's a cartoon type theme at the beginning, but this is an adult show, okay? So, having said all that, I want to bring in an adult. I think you know this motherfucker here. His name is goddamn Marcus Aurelius. Also, keep it 100. What's cracking with you, bro?
What's going on, y'all? What's happening?
Hey, man. Did you get your weight bench, bro?
Yeah, I got my weight bench, man. Gonna be lifting
Damn.
weights.
That's a come up for 20 buckarooskies, dog. God damn.
Yeah,
I'm jealous as a motherfucker. I'm like mad over here.
It's Vegas, man, you know. It's Vegas, people. Sell stuff for cheap, man. It's Vegas. What?
Something going on with your mic, bro. Something going on.
You can't hear me? What's happening?
It's
You can't hear me good?
speeding up and it's staticky and it's going in and out and it's doing this and that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds good from over here. You know, I don't.
No, you sound like you're doing that. You're talking like real fast. It sound like that to me. What y'all? I mean,
Oh, nah, man.
what does it sound like to y'all? Do it sound like it's mic fucking tripping, or do it sound regular or normal to y'all, man? What does it sound like to y'all? If it sounds speed up and broken up, put a 1 in the chat. If it sound regular, put a 2, man. Yeah, it says mic is bad or something like that. We gotta get you right, man. Yeah, they saying it's fucked up, bro. Unplug that joint, plug that shit back. You might have to reboot or something. I don't know.
I don't know. You know, drop me down, pull me back up.
Said drop them down and put them back. Hello? That ain't do it. It's something on your, yeah, he gotta fix that, man. So I'm gonna wait and see if he can fix it. Kick yourself back, you know, come back in. But yeah. How y'all doing, man? It's a Saturday, man, you know? How y'all doing this fine Saturday afternoon, bro? I'm gonna try to delay a little bit to ensure that he can get in here, man. Yeah, shit was going in and out, bro. I'm like, hold on, man. What's up with that, man? Y'all ready to see the game tonight, man? Y'all Denver Nuggets fans or some Laker fans? Who you rooting for, man? Oh, man, it ain't looking good for the Lakers, though, man. That's my squad, man. I've been rocking with the Lakers for a long time, but they looking terrible right now. It said won't let you super chat. What the fuck, man? Oh, hell no. They can't super chat. Oh, no. Hell fucking no. What you mean you can't super chat, man? Oh, no. They need to be burnt for flames for that shit right there, man. Oh, they need to get burnt to flames for that, bro. Oh, no. But if you can't hit the super chat, hit the Cash App at $G with a PhD, man. I'd greatly appreciate it, man. Man, say he trying to leave a shout out and he can't do it. Shout out to Baba Rashawn Live, man. Shout out to that brother, man. The OG, man. Shout out to him, man. Real talk, man. Straight up. Greatly appreciated for that brother to be here. I think Marcus is back on deck. Talk to us, man. Are you back?
Yeah, the computer's moving slow. I mean, I don't know how it sounds now.
Same shit, bro. Might have to use
It might
another
be the
device,
computer.
man. Yeah, I think it's your computer, bro.
Yeah, I might have to. I'll probably jump on my tab.
Yeah, okay.
I'll jump on my tab, but that'll be better because, you know, if I restart this computer, it'll be problems.
Okay. All right.
So I'll jump on the tab. All right.
Oh, man. That boy having technical difficulties, man. The guy's having some extreme technical difficulties, man. What it sounds like is it's sped up, and then also there's like a crackling taking place, man. We're going to get it right, man. I promise, man. We're going to get it right, bro. I promise we gonna get it right. But who you rooting for, man? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I'm a Laker fan, man. They looking real bad right about now, man. Nuggets got them, got them down 2-0, 2 goose egg. He said the Lakers will be all right at home. My Celtics are done watching the fight tonight. Yeah, the Celtics gone fishing, bro. They gone fishing, but all I can say is, bro, they done. I mean, they ain't going fishing. I mean, they'll be back. But, he said, Baba said, I love the Lakers, but I think they going to get swept. They might. He says the series doesn't start until the home team loses. I feel that. Baba say, I love the Lakers. He think they going to get swept, man. It is what it is, bro. We going to see. We going to see. Who you think gonna win it all, though? Who's gonna win it all? That's what I want to know. I want to know who y'all think gonna win the whole kit and caboodle. People say Golden State gonna end up winning that mug. What's happening, man? We just waiting for Baba say he thinks Miami's gonna win it all with the great Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, man. We'll have to wait and see on that one, man. You're going to have to wait and see on that. You say Denver the way they looking, huh? Ain't no telling, man, who going to win the joint, though, man. Only time can tell, man. Only time will tell. Right now, I'm just waiting. I'm kind of killing time, waiting on your boy, Keep It 100 to get his setup right, man, so he can join the stream. Thought he had his shit together, man. I'm about to joan on this motherfucker. About to start ribbing at him and shit. But everything is fine, man. It's a Saturday, nice Saturday, and it's 81 degrees in Texas, you know what I'm saying? Which is nice, not too humid. Everything is decent here, man. I'm chilling. I thought about getting on that bicycle. I said, no, man, I don't feel like sweating right now. I might do it a little bit later. But yeah, I don't feel like having a lot of sweat. A lot of sweating. What's up, man? You back, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound a lot better, bro.
Yes. So what's happening is I'm rebuilding my RAID on the computer, so it's running a little slow.
Yeah, whatever it was creating a lot of interference. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't right.
It ain't the mic. Somebody said my mic was trash. The same mic I use every. All of a sudden,
oh man, stop it, bro! Like we know, man. We know you got a good quality mic, man.
I'm 86% of that RAID rebuild, and if I restart that computer, it's gonna start all over. So I don't want to reboot. So I just closed everything on that shit, so that shit could finally finish. Cause I got a 12 terabyte, RAID array. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want to start that over. It's like a server, so I don't want to start that over. It's 86%, and it takes all day and all night to get up to that. So rebooting the computer, that shit'll be starting from scratch. I hope that it's done before I go live later. But if not, then I'm gonna really have to reboot the computer, because if I can't go live with the computer like that, and I ain't trying to go live from the tablet either. So
let's get this shit started, man. It's Short Bus Saturday. You know what Short Bus Saturday is about. I mean, what we do is we look at the various shorts that I've collected from YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be, and we evaluate and have a little short conversation on it. I wish I had a timer or something like, pardon the interruption, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? I ain't that high tech. If I did, I would, but hey. So yeah, let's go, man. Let's go ahead and get with this, man, so we can get these people up out of here, man.
No
So
doubt.
I'm gonna make myself a little bit bigger, not because I'm trying to, demonstrate that I'm the bigger motherfucker or nothing, but just so you can see the screen a bit more while Marcus is still visible. All right. So,
That explain.
huh?
Nah, the explanation. But go ahead, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't care how long you been together. Them years don't mean nothing if that man keep making a fool out you. Behind your back, he doing this. Behind your back, he doing that. Them years don't mean nothing, straight up.
What you think about that, man? What's cracking with that?
I mean, outside of any other context, he's correct. I mean, I it's like part of me want to say he's pandering, but he didn't say anything, extra on that. You know what I mean? He didn't add into it or whatever. I mean, typically with guys talk about what other guys is doing and they kind of like make women the audience. It's typically pandering. I mean, there might have been more things he said or maybe another post that he's made where he's pandering, but I don't see nothing wrong with what he just said right there outside of any other context. Yeah, if a motherfucker's doing all type of shit behind your back, yeah, you gotta look crazy. Shit look crazy.
I give you the right answer on that one. Cause I said the same thing myself when I saw it. I said outside of the context, I can't really tell if he's pandering. But I mean, I would say that goes for anybody that you're dealing with. Like if anybody is making a fool of you, being deceptive, engaging in unsavory practices behind your back, then it's not a good look. No matter how much time it is you spent with this individual. You understand?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, what up, Doc Johnson? What's cracking with you, bro? What's happening, Doc? What's going on with you, man? But yeah, so, and like Doc said, man, hit that like button, man. You ain't got to be a hater, man. I know y'all out, all that hating is hurting for real, man. Stop the hate, man. And give me a like, you know what I mean? So look, let's go on to the next one, bro.
No doubt.
Let me tell you about blacks and Latinos. There's no difference with blacks and Latinos. When you see the same messed up schools, the same hospitals, the biggest power is people power. And if you come together and stop separating the two, you will see that the power in numbers will get us exactly what we need in the hood. Don't fight your brothers and your sisters. We won. No matter how you look at this thing.
Okay. What say you, Marcus Aurelius?
He says that shit when it's convenient to say, and then need Puerto Rican hard waving flag when it's convenient to do that. And I don't have a problem with people waving the flags of where they come from. Be pride in your nationalism or your heritage and all of that stuff. But me being from New York, I have long history of knowledge of Fat Joe, and I'm not gonna say that he doesn't like black people. I mean, he can't not like black people, but at the same time, there are times where he's played innocent card.
You're dropping out.
Right. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I think that when it's cool to unify, then they start talking that shit. But then when at other points they talk that that type of shit. So that's
okay. So the question is though, I mean, principally, devoid of the fact that it's Fat Joe that's saying it, do you think the messaging has any accuracy whatsoever, or do you think that the messaging is off? Like, I mean, just remove Fat Joe from the equation and think about like the positionality of Latinos and black folks. I don't know what New York is like in relation to the socioeconomic status of Puerto Ricans versus Dominicans versus...
the logic, this is the thing, the logic behind it, as far as, if we were to unite, this would happen, or we'd have this outcome and things like that. I mean, um, it it it, it sounds like it may have some merit, but me being from New York, I feel like just like anywhere else, people are trying to separate themselves from what comes packaged with being black, right? Until it's some cool packaging. So Fat Joe, well, see, here I go with the Fat Joe shit again. How about this? When it's hip hop, when it's some fun shit, then everybody wants to be black until you got to pay black tax, and that's when motherfuckers will let you know I'm not one of these people. Puerto Ricans and Dominicans have their own culture in New York that they rock with, and they definitely separate themselves from us when it's necessary to do so, unless there's some sort of benefit attached or some party or some music or whatever the case may be. It's just like anyone else. They like black culture, you know, more than they like black people, right? So, these are people who they have their own neighborhoods, they have their own music, they have their own culture, and all of that's okay. But let's not pretend like, okay, we grew up in the same area, so like it's all love. It's the same as Africans and Black Americans. It's the same type of thing.
Yeah, look, I understand. Like I'm not from New York. Like I didn't grow around Puerto Ricans and shit. I'm not from Chicago, although I know that there's a big Puerto Rican, enclave in Chicago. I know that many of these people, have a separate culture that they identify with, and I know that there's stigmatization associated with black folks. But I think as an ideal, I think that like at some point class issues have to become of paramount importance, and we have to find ways to coalesce and connect. But it's difficult to do because they get entrenched in their culture, and then they seek positionality close to whiteness sometimes, and
I was gonna go. That was the next thing I was gonna say. I think especially when people come from these islands, understand that there's a large amount of people from the DR, from Puerto Rico, from all of those areas, all of those countries, or Central or South America, who, when you look at them, they appear to be black, Afro, Latino, whatever. But then when you check that box on that employment, there's Hispanic, Caucasian, and Hispanic black, and depending on who. This is what I like to say about, and of course this does include everybody. I have people in my circle that are Latino, Puerto Rican, Dominican, whatever. But the thing is, these guys will tell you the exact same thing. They kind of feel a way about the greater number of Puerto Ricans or Dominicans who they try to leverage themselves close to whiteness or benefit from white supremacy, and separate themselves from us because of what comes with being black in America, or even in the world, period. Right. So, it's kind of like almost like a survival tactic that people play, where they try to pass for white or leverage, proximal whiteness. Or there's things in their culture that is racist. You know what I mean? And that's just not against Black Americans, but Black people from where they're from.
For sure, for sure. So there are a lot of comments in the chat, but what I want to do is give a shout out to the people who donated thus far. Shout out to Salty Balls, man. You know how he gets down, man. Go put some water on them salty ass balls, man. I'm being ignorant, man. Shout out to Salty Balls, man. Shout out to
bland, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the Mississippi Delta guy, man. I got to give him some fanfare, man. I really and truly appreciate that generous donation, sir. And in addition to that, it deserves an explosion. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate the kind donation. He says also, he left a comment to this effect. He says, ask the Afro-Latinas how they are treated by white Latinos. There is a whole history of mejorar la raza, make the Latino race better, that is whiter. And I can't deny that. You know, I understand that, okay? I get that. Clay Bisbee, 704, says something interesting. Says, Fat Joe reps his Spanish thing hard, but they ain't nothing but light-skinned niggas. They right there with the rest of us. And, you know, I tend to think, you know, something similar to that. Although ideologically they may beg to differ. I mean, you know, especially if you're Puerto Rican. I mean, there's a large concentration of Afro infusion into that, you know, demographic. But, you know, and Dub Will says, and shout out to him, by the way. He says, so Latinos can separate themselves as Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, etc., but ADOS, FBA shouldn't separate ourselves. Interesting. So, and, you know, my viewpoint on it is, you know, you separate yourselves. I mean, I'm not asking you to, you know, abandon your ethnic concerns altogether, but I mean, there are times for bonding and, you know, being insular. There are times when that's appropriate, but then there's also times for bridging, which is an act of extending. It all depends on you. You know, I just think that, you know, a lot of class-related issues get overlooked, and, you know, people tend to favor identity politics. They give preference to identity politics above and beyond class-related politics, and it prevents, you know, a push for greater social and economic justice. But that's just my opinion.
Well, it depends on who thinks they're going to benefit or who thinks they're suffering under it. So understand this, right? Two people bridging only matters if, like, let's say you put a bridge from Beverly Hills to Compton, right? Let's say there was a body of water from Beverly Hills to Compton. Who you think wants that bridge and who doesn't?
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Like,
right.
It's not like this is not lost on me. Okay.
So
go ahead, but finish your point though.
What I'm pretty much saying is the reason why Black people try to enact or bridge with everyone is because, you know, we are Compton. We are the group of people who are dealing with the, you know, the you know, the sharp edge.
The nadir is what you're saying. We're at the penultimate. We're at the bottom of the bottom.
Right. We're dealing with the sharp edge of racism. And you got people who we're trying to bridge with who feel, you know, like our problem ain't their problem. So why bridge with us to now, you know, deal with maybe some of the things that we're dealing with, even if the people who they're trying to bridge with us, or they would be bridging with us against, look at them in some of the same ways that they look at us. At the end of the day, you have people within our group who are trying to pass, right? And, you know, they trying to assimilate or blend in or whatever the case may be. So what we got to understand is, in America, we treat skin color or skin complexion as, this tribalistic thing. When you leave this country, it's about nations, right? So like the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans had their own issues within that, I guess, if you want to call it homogeneous group, right? But Black people, right? Black people, we look at it in terms of skin color. And then when you go to these other groups of people, they all look alike, but they still have their issues within their own groups. We fail to realize that skin color alone is not enough of a unifier. You understand what I'm saying? And because of the things that we've gone through in this country, we think that people outside of this nation that look like us are unified with us based on a physical attribute as opposed to their allegiance to a nation and that culture within that nation. And I think that people who feel that way need to travel more, and they'll realize that it's more about nations and geographical location and less about skin tone.
Let me follow up by saying this, but before I even follow up and say anything, I want to give a shout out to Salty Balls. This dude is crazy as a motherfucker, man. He says, Scroll of Merchants, chapter 2, verse 1. 9 merchants convene in the shadows. It was deliberated that half of Lizzo's worth of coin ran down from the ethers from thy treasure chest to thine scholar at the public square to turn the voices into a resounding chorus of change for black men. Hey, pretty obscure there. I'm still trying to wrap my head around and decipher it, but shout out to this brother, man. And he deserves a round not only of explosions, but of fanfare. Shout out to Salty Balls, man. I gotta, I think I'm gonna start doing like little drops and shit for various persons, man, who donate quite often. Like they're gonna have their own little unique drops. Like, everybody's got a little light. W balls, salty balls. Some ignorant shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man. But shout out to Salty Balls, man. Appreciate it. Shout out to him. Show you right, man. So let me. Okay, so I just wanted to say this. Okay, I'm very well aware of the various hang-ups that people have, the various ways that people identify or use identity in order to balkanize and to analyze, which to me is a form of separation. Okay, this is what makes me different than you. Okay, I'm very aware, I'm cognizant of that kind of concern. Okay, the only thing I'm trying to put forth is there are various ways in which it doesn't matter what color of skin you are, what national, interest that you think you have, but there are ways that like economic conditions can create, a similarity in outcome for you, regardless as to whether you are white, whether you are black, whether you are Puerto Rican, whether you are a Dominican, whether you are Trinidadian, or whatever the case may be. Whatever it is, there is a situation that can arise in this country. I'm not speaking about people elsewhere throughout the entirety of the world. I'm speaking about how people from different walks of life can have similar experiences predicated upon their economic positioning in the United States. And I'm not saying that you should forget your ethnicity. I'm not saying you should forget your race. However, I think that, more often than not, what we tend to do is we tend to think in terms of nationalistic racial interests, totally ignoring, pushing to the periphery and setting to the side any concerns related to class, because the other kinds of identity formations get in the way of us being able to bridge and to find ways where we have similarities, but we can't get over the differences in order to attend to the similarities. So that's just my opinion. I don't want to get too far, too deep off into that, but the show must go on. It must continue. We can't continue to, like I said, it's this is like a pardon the interruption type of thing. And I'm not saying that colorism just exists in the United States. We know it exists all throughout the world. Okay, we understand this. The only thing I'm just trying to articulate is there a way in which class interests can supersede other interests? Why in the United States is this not occurring, right? And I think it ought to occur, and I know the reasons for which it's not occurring, but I think it ought to occur, even with white folks. Like, it's a lot of lower economic wrong white folks that are not doing that damn well. Okay, so there, to me, now if you want to talk about intersectionality, there are ways in which economics can make your conditions intersect. But I mean, there are ways in which, your life is going to be different, but there are also ways that it's going to be similar based upon your social economic condition. That's all I'm saying. Right?
G,
Yeah.
black people are not the people that you have to sell this to. We're not, black people have been trying to unify in the manner that you're speaking on for decades, maybe even more than decades. Black people are not the group that you have to sell this idea to. You have to sell it to the other group. Okay, those are the people who are not interested because they feel like it makes sense to us. What you're saying makes 100% sense to black people. Just understand that you're speaking to the wrong side. You have to talk to the other people because they are the ones that are not interested. You understand what I'm saying? So
Get it?
just
Look, I understand. So I understand that white people need to get off the white high horse.
not just white
If
people.
you, if I know it's not just white people, but I mean, if you want to talk about a binary, this is the extremes. Okay,
Right.
Everybody knows that the extremes are white versus black, the penultimate versus the apex, related to power and status and wealth. Militarily or economically or socially or culturally in this country specifically, but predominantly in the world at this moment. But again, I think I'm going to dedicate a show to this at some point, and because I think it needs attention, and I just think that this country is deeply mired in identity politics at the moment, and I think that the originators of identity politics are white folks. I believe that. But it deserves some attention at some point. So, having said all that, let's continue on with the convo. Oh, before I do that, I would like to give a shout out to the people who've hit me up on the Cash App. JA versus JQ Gibbons sent me some bread. Thank you so much for that kind donation, sir. Appreciate that. And Kaylon hit me up on the Cash App. Thank you, sir, for that donation. And Baba Rashan, man, shout out to you, brother. I really and truly appreciate the donation, sir. Thank you. So having said that, let us proceed with the discourse.
Vô nhà thương, đêm nay vô nhà thương, đêm nay vô nhà anh để thương. Giây phút em gặp anh là em biết em si tình, tình 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 tang tang tình, tang tình 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 tang tang tang. Giây phút em gặp anh là em biết em si tình, tình 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 toan toan tình mình tình tan 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 tình. Yeah, yeah. Anh tính sao, giờ để anh tính sao?
Initial thoughts, your guttural or visceral response to that.
I don't know what you want me to say about that silly shit right there. That's my guttural.
I put it there because, in my view, it is another way in which black men are emasculating themselves, or kind of identifying with queerness, and the question is like, why is there such a positive response to black men queering themselves, or in general to men queering themselves? Why is this celebrated? And I think I don't know if it was you who made the post, or it was Dr. Tiasan Johnson who made the post, or whether you piggybacked off each other in relation to the post. But what it said was that it seems as if masculinity is praised when women are exemplifying it, and that femininity is praised when men are, expressing it. However, it is condemned if men are expressing it, and it is condemned if women are expressing it in a quote unquote cisgendered way, which means that your natural gender. So that was my viewpoint on that. That's just my opinion. Like I'm seeing black men kind of perform gayness, like frolicking, like like I'm open to being, a bottom bitch type motherfucker. That's just how I see it, man.
Well, that's the type of shit that wins on social media. I know girls, black women, who they like seeing shit like that. It's that's their entertainment because you know they among other people. I've said it before. Black women practice white supremacy. It's not a sisterhood. It's white supremacy because they hate each other. But at the same time, they like this sort of stuff because they view black men the same way everybody else views black men. When they are masculine, they view them as abusive, violent, all of that toxic stuff, right? So these guys, drop the bass out your voice, effeminate acting men, um, to them they're fun. Like, now you ask these women, are these the guys you want to date, or are these the guys you want to rely on, or are these guys do these guys make you feel secure? And they'll instantly tell you no, but they'll push this agenda that all the guys be like. This is the same way they push the transformer agenda until it got to the point where you sharing bathrooms in your sports situations. So they'll push this shit and not knowing that there's a slippery slope down the road that they're gonna bust their ass on, because they just like the idea of pissing off the quote unquote cisgendered man who is the toxic patriarch trying to tell them what to do and yada yada yada.
Yeah, I get it. My only thing is I hate to see black men emasculate themselves, and even for money or likes, subscriptions, attention on social media. I just think it's doing too much. That's just my opinion about that particular matter. And I do want to do some housekeeping really quickly. Salty Ball says 1980s Fame reboot. I guess that's kind of like what he saw there. And Mississippi Delta guys were making a reference to another conversation that we just kind of moved beyond. And at some point, I think I'm going to cover that again. But he says, Dr. Gigi, I disagree with you on this one. We black people, whether rich or poor, have no geological friends. Class in the USA will never supersede race in the USA. Pipe dream. And that may very well be the case. But again, we've moved beyond that particular conversation, but I definitely have to give it attention due to the fact that he left it in the super chat, and I definitely honor that, brother. So.
Well, there was another super chat that he made earlier where he said something about, and I'm figuring this is addressing me. He said, wrong colorism exists in other societies and countries as well. It's just not the USA. So to that, I'll say this. I never alleged that colorism didn't exist outside of the US. I actually said that, there's racism globally. I've been outside the country, but I'll tell you this, Delta guy, those same black people in other nations that are dealing with issues with their white counterparts will mob up on you because you don't come from that country.
So there you go. But so I also want to make sure that I give some attention to Mr. O with the info. Appreciate your donation, my brother. I appreciate that. Shout out to him. So and look, I don't mind people disagreeing with me on a variety of issues. The only thing I get a little disgruntled about, like I get irritated by, is disrespect. Like it's one thing to say, I respectfully disagree, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. And, sometimes I can be a pretty inflammatory and provocative in the way that I, express myself. So I guess that opens I guess, invitations for people to be snarky or to be trollish or whatever the case may be. But like, I mean, there's a realm of good taste, I think, and sometimes people can go a little overboard, but that's just my opinion, man. And if you go overboard, I get like you get, like sometimes I get eloquently petty. Okay, so anyway, having said all that, let us move on. Let us proceed to give you what you need.
No doubt.
We must also realize that the problems of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power.
Yeah, that's kind of speaking to some of the things I was talking about earlier. Like, I think, I think that, like the next stage of development, and I went over this, but the next stage of development for MLK was the Poor People's Campaign, okay? And of course, it's going to have a racial component to it, but I think it was going to transcend race by itself and, kind of like focus more primarily on, just economic concerns and interests. But at the end of the day, we haven't actually reckoned, I think as a nation, we haven't reckoned with the economic issue at all. And I think we've been leaning in on identity politics too much. I mean, we've been leaning in on women's politics. We've been leaning in on gay people's politics. Now it's fractured and fissured into, even like smaller categories, like, gay Black women who are handicapped. And, it's turned into something different than what the original movement was supposed to have been about, which was, racial injustices associated with like a history of colonialism and slavery and, like dealing with economic and distributive issues. And now it's just become about like tokenism and representation and, a small number of Negroes being in, proportion in various, hierarchies within the, landscape of the country. I just think it's some bullshit, man. I think we're no longer in the realm of grassroots movement for social and political and economic improvement. It's just like token politics at this moment. Like, I mean, at one point, I think in the country's history of Black politics, like somebody like Ebony K. Williams would be an embarrassment. That's just my opinion. Like, to me, like somebody like that would be an embarrassment to like a Fannie Lou Hamer, a Elliot Baker, or just, like a Coretta Scott King or people in the past. Like, hold on, you mean to tell me that honest, hardworking, decent people are beneath you now? Because we opened up a pathway for you to be able to gain access to corporate money or a corporate job. But so now people who don't have corporate jobs are beneath you now. I don't think that the Black people in the past, prior to the civil rights movement being, as successful as it has been, which I don't think has been fully successful, but you get the picture. I think, like persnickety Negroes who thumb their nose at people who have less than they have, especially hardworking Black people, law-abiding, hardworking, blue-collar Black folks, man, that out there, just getting the money, the way they can. They would take issue, I think, in umbrage with, the positioning of a lot of, Black folks today. That's just my opinion,
Yeah, I wouldn't put Ebony Williams' name amongst those folks, but because Ebony Williams, she is trying to explain or rationalize her position by saying or making it about Black women or Black people in general, when it's really about her failure to marry out. You know what I'm saying? Like she's no different than any of these chicks that we hear, touting their degrees. She's one of those people that try to use her education to gain proximity to white men. Okay, and that's just what it is. And now that didn't work out for her, she's demanding that from her fallback, and nobody's paying attention to that because nobody's knocking at the door. The thing is, even with what she said, she probably just made it worse for her prospects.
Yeah, I mean, now she looks like a gold digger. Now she looks like, like all she's looking for is a motherfucker with money. And nobody wants to be used. I mean, if you're going to use somebody, at least be able to play the shit off. Now she can't play it off.
Right.
You
So
know what I mean?
right. So even the black men who might have been interested are like, well, damn, if I was a bus driver, you wouldn't be fucking with me.
Or if I got sick and was no longer healthy, or if I, took a financial hit, you'd be the type to bounce. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that was a short one. So let's move on to the next. What the fuck is going on there, my bro?
I'm trying to understand why that made the internet.
Well, I mean, look, we already know, man, that not too long ago, man, a chick put like Gorilla Glue in her hair and shit, man,
Yeah, and it was
this is a similar situation to that, man.
Well, okay, but understand, like the girl with the Gorilla Glue, which I covered, okay, she was online on TikTok or whatever, trying to show people, like, look at this, look how this works, or whatever. And that's how that made the internet. And
But I mean, anything can make the internet. I mean, like,
no, you
all
have
it takes is somebody to upload it, bro.
No, that ain't all. No, it takes somebody to record it, log in. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
They put he had they had the text on it and everything, bro. With content creators, that's work.
Yeah. Well, I think the point of it was, to me, the only reason I put it there is because I think that, just my honest opinion, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this shit here, man. I just think that, it's embarrassing, man. Like, first of all, you should love who you are. And I understand that people want to enhance, augment, and, accentuate. And I also know, the kind of racial positioning that the black people are in, and your beauty standards in the Western world, and how black women don't necessarily fit into those. But god damn, man, like, I mean, like, how much will you go through in order to to present yourself as close to whiteness? Like, how effacing will you be?
That shit that's in that video, and don't take me saying why is it on the internet to mean that you shouldn't put it here, or we shouldn't talk about it. What I'm saying is that seemed to be like a mishap that, like you said, it's embarrassing. Like, there's things like, yo, like, who posted it for the world to see this woman going through what she's going through now? To address some of the things you said, women have been wearing wigs since forever. So it's not even a black thing, unless you're talking about black women wearing different texture wigs. So I don't know what wig she had on. Or matter of fact, they pulled the wig off, but they didn't pull the other shit on. To me, this is just stupidity. Like, women wear wigs every day and don't get the shit stuck on their head to have a little son trying to rip
yank the shit off.
This is just an improper use of a wig. It ain't. I don't go into the whole self-hate, this, that, and the other, because if the chick was walking down the street with her bald ass head, we'd have something to say about that, right? So let her wear her wig. Just don't glue the shit on your head with the wrong fucking glue. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So we have a divergence of opinion related to that matter, but it is what it is, man. Also, Mississippi Delta guy says, Dr. GG, I keep hearing some black men complaining about rainbow people and women agendas, but we still vote Democratic without demanding anything. It's our fault. We get what we vote for. And to some degree, I think that's true. And I think that, black men are beginning to push for an agenda that's more partial to their interests, as opposed to like later, in later years or whatever the case may be, or years earlier than now, where we kind of like sat back and let other people take the driver's seat. But I don't think blind voting for any party in the United States is a smart decision.
Right.
It's allowing yourself to be played like a political football. That's
Right.
that's my perception.
No, black people don't demand shit from either party, or at least black men. Anytime I talk to conservatives or Republicans and I ask them, well, okay, I'll agree with you that the Dems ain't doing shit for us. What are Republicans doing? And then they'll talk about all the shit that the Republicans are doing for Americans, and we know that them cakes or them pies or them cookies ain't handed out the same, right? We know that. Okay, we know that. And then they start talking this dumb shit about, if you own a business, you like all these niggas own businesses on home, like knock it off. We got. I don't care who would have been the president. If Trump was here, we probably still be in Ukraine, right? We're still sending money to Israel. There's things that this country does that's above who's in the White House. But at the end of the day, my point is, we complain about rainbow people and women's agendas. That's cool, and that's valid. But again, we're not really forcing our hand on any political party. You understand what I'm saying? On either side. So
yeah, closed mouth doesn't get fed, man. You got to develop an agenda. Shout out to Dr. Tia Johnson for developing an agenda at all. Yeah. And I know there are various other black people in the black community, like Ice Cube has his initiative. You got Charles Faulkner with his. You got, different people, ADOS with theirs. You got FBA with theirs, B1 with theirs. You got like various people all across the country developing agendas and doing what they can. And I'm pretty sure there's more than what I've mentioned just there. People who probably have more salt in the game and have more political clout and influence than any I've just named. But I mean, the point is this: if you don't have an agenda of your own ahead of time, and you just kind of get pushed and pulled by shallow political promises, that's just like being a naive individual on the street just getting hoodwinked with 3-card money or some shit. It's just like, come on, bro. Like they're gonna keep doing the same. They're gonna keep running the same scam if you keep allowing yourself to get run for the same scam. That's just how the game goes. But let's proceed, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mom had a heart attack when I told her that my boyfriend serves himself. She almost fell out. Like, what?
Your boyfriend what?
That he serves himself when I cook. I don't serve. Sometimes I'm tired, and if I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat first, and he can come up and serve himself.
So why you can't just make the plate?
9 years?
Because I'm hungry.
If I'm making the dinner and I'm making the plate, it ain't gonna kill me to make my
let me
lady
ask you
her
a
plate.
question.
I know it takes a few seconds, minutes. I don't know, but I'm hungry. So what I'm saying is sometimes he could come up and serve himself. What's the big deal?
Yes, sir. Well, what say you?
It's typical. I mean, we've seen a million of these types of things, man. Let's just say, let's assume that she's even telling the truth, right? Let's assume that she's even telling the truth, because what I'm learning, and I don't doubt her, because a lot of this shit is common, but a lot of people are saying shit on the internet and then they go right home and do all that shit that they say they don't do. But if her mother is looking at her sideways because dude is making his own plate, that means she didn't learn this from her mother. And I think that I just had this discussion maybe earlier today or yesterday, people are underestimating the impact of social media on the culture, because women are telling other women, no, don't serve, don't do this, don't do that. That's patriarchal, that's toxic, that's slavery, that's oppression, whatever. Any service to a man is a bad thing, right? But if he made your plate, that's acceptable, because right. So so he can't be oppressed, you're oppressed by serving him his plate,
That goes back to what, like, the recent conversation that Ilyana Van Zant was trying to have with this Ebony Williams chick.
Right.
She's basically saying that, like a lot of women, they don't want themselves to be perceived as vulnerable or weak or doing anything for anybody that puts them in a position to where they consider themselves to be subordinate. So, I mean, even if you're serving somebody that they're on your team. So, I mean, I want you to think about this. What that does is it sets up a situation of antagonism for somebody that's supposed to be on your team. That's like me saying, okay, no, let me put it in terms where I'm like, I can make people understand this shit. That's like saying, I'm not gonna throw you the alley-oop, motherfucker. I know you open and shit, but I'm not gonna throw you the alley-oop. You need to earn that basket, nigga. You know, like, hold on, I thought we were trying to like play this game to win it together. Like, I thought that was like the kind of deal that we set ourselves into, you know. However, you know, like, I'm like the idea that, okay, so I'm hungry. Like, child, please, man, I cook my motherfucking self. Everybody who cooks, if they have any, you know, skill related to cooking, you're eating all the while you're cooking. So that's a fucking excuse. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the idea, well, you know, I'm so hungry while I'm cooking that I have to eat before. No, that's just, you basically don't want to serve. You don't want to be generous. You don't want to give because you perceive it as somehow, you know, putting you in a position of subordinateness. And I just think this shit is ridiculous. That's just my opinion, bro. But
nobody talks about the many ways that men serve. Men do a lot in a relationship that is under the umbrella of service. You know, shit, from first date, we're paying for dates. You know, chivalry is service. So all of those things that you do in chivalry, where you hold the door open, you push the chair, and all of these things are in service. Women want you to come around to their side of the car and open their door for them. That's service. Okay.
I'll do that. I'll do that for some, you know, but if it gets to a point where I feel like the chick don't deserve that, I'm not going to continue to do that shit.
I understand that. So, but I'm just comparing it to the things that they're calling either subservient or subordinate. But there are times when men have to be of service, like the high table in John Wick. You know, I serve, I will be of service. Like,
yeah.
Men play that position in different ways than women do. But again, the women think that their form of service is outdated and archaic while demanding the same traditional services that men have always provided.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's push. Cause we ain't scratched the surface, man. So
right? So I think it's something that was conditioned, the Black love, save the family, no matter how hard it gets. But I think millennials and women are taking a different turn where we're valuing ourselves. We're entrepreneurs. We have more money. So we don't have to stay in these situations. And we're becoming more comfortable with the fact that I'm okay with being single. If love doesn't find me, I'm okay and I'm comfortable with being by myself because I can provide for myself. I'm okay being the rich auntie.
They're really not
the rich auntie, baby. Go ahead.
They're really not okay. See, two things I'll say about that, right? Two things I'll say about that, and it goes back to what we were just talking about. Now that they're, you know, in what they perceive as the men's position, they want to relinquish themselves of all the, I guess, responsibilities or obligations of a relationship, right? It's kind of like they're the single man now. They're single men.
Essentially.
They want their freedom. They have become single men. Black women who talk like that, they're single men, right? They get to a point where, you know, they want the child and this and that. They don't want the relationship. That's why, you know, Dr. T was talking about these women. They don't want the relationship. They just want the baby, and they want the baby free from the man, right? Then they, you know, even with all their career, they want a guy to come along and take care. There's so many contradictions here, right? You know, they want a guy to come and take care of them as an educated quote unquote man. Like they go to school, they get all this education and degrees and things like that, which would be rendered utterly useless if they're still hypergamous. It's useless. What is the point of going to build yourself up to be independent, to depend on a nigga?
Yeah, that's my whole point. Like I've been saying that shit like for a long time. All I said is, look, you're in the way. If that's how you're rolling, you're taking a valuable position away from somebody who wants to actually go out and hunt and share what he catches with others and to provide for a family. If you feel like this is just a way for you to, indulge your ego, then you're in the way. You're in the game and you don't deserve to be a player. That's just my opinion about that, man.
So,
but
real quick, the other thing, because it was two things. The other thing that this says is that a lot of women were only in the relationship for the benefits. If you know what I'm saying, if they're saying, well, I got the bag, I don't have to get a man for this lifestyle or these things, these items, these gifts, whatever. That means, okay, now you've gotten the education, now you got the money, so now you good. You don't, when they say I don't need a man, I get my own bag, that means the bag was the end, the man was the means. So if you can get to the end without the means, you don't need the means, right? So that means you never wanted the relationship, you never wanted the means, you just wanted the end.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you just got to ask yourself, like, when did, I have my viewpoint about this. Like, think about prior to capitalism and the Industrial Revolution. Like, what was the point of life? The point of life wasn't to get a job. The point was to subsist, or to be a part of a collective and subsist within the context of that collective, to reproduce, to bear fruit, so to speak, which is one of the primary directives of a human being, but, which can't actually be done outside of the context of a community, to be perfectly honest. But,
Question.
Look, what I don't want to do is to get mired in this conversation.
No. This is something else. Question, right? Because, often the narrative is that black men, they go, they get their education, they raise their income, and then, when
they fuck with a white bitch.
Right. So the question is, how many successful black women are with white men, right? Like, how often does that happen? Because what I would argue, and this is based on, of course, their ability to do that based on their attractiveness or their qualities, how often do they attempt to swirl once they get up on that level? Because in my opinion, a lot of these women are trying to do the same thing, and then they settle for black men.
Yeah, I don't know. All I can say is, there's some white women, some black women who, they swirl and they have ambitions to swirl, and then there's some black women who just date within their race, so that's not, I don't have information about all that shit, so I'm not gonna, hazard a guess.
Well, just food for thought.
Speculate. Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, man, I've never dated white women. I've had white women like come up to me in bars and shit like, hey, hey. I'm like, well, what's good, But I wasn't fucking interested. I'm not talking about fat, frumpy white chicks either. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like some badass white bitches. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, it just hasn't been like my movement. You know what I mean? But I'm not hating on guys that do. If that's what you want to do, man, go for it. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, bro. Let's push and proceed, man.
Sometimes I cannot stand the topic of single motherhood. And it's not because I disagree with a lot of the things that men say. Because I agree with a lot of the things that the men say. I guess I got an emotional attachment to it, because my personal situation. Imagine being the woman that begged the man not to make her a single mother. And he chose to do it anyway. And yet she get blamed for it forever.
That's me, you know, the one that wanted to be married, couldn't. Everybody always make excuses for my son's father. Like there actually is a good ass reason for a man to not take care of his own child. Especially when a woman ain't even getting in the way. Some women aren't made to be mothers. I feel that. There's plenty of men out here that don't deserve being a father. Of course, there are a lot of stereotypes. And I tell men all the time there's a difference between a high-end single mother and a low-energy baby mama. Make sure you know the difference. But at the end of the day, the single motherhood thing is not my fight. It ain't never gonna be my fight. Because it ain't my job to sit here and try to convince every single man to deal with every single mother. The average man is not gonna be able to deal with it.
Do you want my response based on who's saying it or indifferent to who's saying it? Because I got two responses.
Give both responses, but make them brief.
Okay, I'll make it as brief as I can. You said a whole lot, bro.
Yeah, I mean, because we got 12 more minutes of this shit to roll through.
I got you. So, I mean, as far as her she's talking about, you know, she said a whole lot. She says she agrees with what motherfuckers do, but then she's talking about, you know, dudes who don't want to deal with this or don't want to deal. I mean, she kind of jumped all over the place, bro. So, like, you know, I feel like if dudes don't want to deal with single mothers, it's their right to not do that in this and fuck with the culture saying they need to do just because the women want them to do it, right? The thing that gets left out is what are these women doing to make these dudes not want to fuck with them? Like, and I'm talking about the original father. I ain't even talking about the guy who comes later. Like, how did you become a single mom? Nobody talks about how, you know, well, people do talk about it in reference to, well, of course, black women don't want to be single mothers. Of course they do. And a lot of times the ones who say they don't leave out their role in becoming single after the child was born. Now, my commentary in reference to who's saying it is that bitch is a psycho. And I know why I never believe her. And I know her personally, you know, for where I can say that. That's
personally, it. like straight Noah.
No, I know Sansaray.
Okay, I don't know who the fuck she is. So I mean, at the end of the day, I know she got a channel called The Black Macho or some shit like that. That's all I know. Okay?
That's probably that's her most successful attempt at social media to date. The thing with Sansaray is, you know, and I don't want to get too deep into it. I mean, this is a chick that faked her own death, amongst other things, right? So yeah, she's different, bro. Like in real life, she's really different.
Yeah, and so this is my thing, right? Let me just keep it a buck about this shit, right? Unless you were graped, nobody forced you to be a single mom, man. That's just my whole position on this shit. Like at the end of the day, what women need to do is they need to put the horse before the cart, but they put the cart before the horse. They engage in, you know, fornication and having fun and, you know, being in, you know, hedonistic relationships. And then after that, you know, they want to, you know, try to clean it up. That's not how you're successful in developing family life. We've known, like, let me just say this shit. There are rules and ethics and norms in place where people know how to approach this subject matter, especially if you are a woman. You know, how do you approach this situation as a woman? You approach it by finding a husband first. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, marriages won't fail, okay? Or that, like, you know, people won't, especially in this country, like, a marriage can fail really easily. All it takes is for somebody to pull the trigger on the wedding or to hit the, you know, the panic button and it's terminated, okay? But the point is, at least if you are a woman, at least get married first before you had a little motherfucker, because those kind of unions tend to last longer than those where women just shack up with motherfuckers and then have kids and then they want the man to stay, or they want the man to leave, you know, or there's some crazy shit going on in the context of the relationship. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the fact that she said that she was made into a single mother, I just don't buy the shit. I can't by the whole notion that somebody made you a single mother. You allowed yourself to be a single mother when you open your legs up without having a husband. So that's all I got to say about it. If you got something to follow up with, go ahead, and then I'm going to move on to the next.
Oh, what I'll say is this, of course, it makes sense to tell these women, marry before you carry, but you got to understand that a lot of times they have the baby to induce the marriage. So understand what the strategy, which is centuries old, right, is that they have the kid to make the man want to marry them. They feel like in their head, oh, if I have this kid, he will want to be with me. That's how they think. So when you say what you're saying, you're thinking like a man, not a woman. I mean, we all think like men. But if you're thinking like a woman, you're thinking, if I have his baby, we're now a family, right? So now he'll marry me, he'll stay. And forget all the examples of that not working. See, get wetter than you, suck dick better than you, and all this other shit, right? And they think that they're going to be that one example, and they do it relationship after relationship after relationship each time, So I mean, that's just what it is, bro.
Yeah, I just think that's just stupidity, if you ask me. But hey.
Yeah, and I'm only speaking.
I want equal pay because it's like, why am I going to college? I'm getting A's and B's, and this nigga got C's.
All right, let me ask you this: would you rather have a high-profile job for no pay or clean sewers for $100,000 a year?
I would clean sewers if it's more money.
Okay. Do you think most women would choose to do that?
I don't know what most women choose. But I'm talking about me.
Okay, no, I get that, but I'm saying I've interviewed hundreds of women, and most women actually would not choose the dangerous, dirty job. Is that possibly why a lot of women get paid less? Why do we have the expression "that's a man's job"? Because
certain things are a man's job. Because it's like, why gotta take the trash out if there's a man in the house?
Right. So I'm just saying.
Or lift heavy things.
Well, is it fair to say if you want equal privileges, you need equal responsibilities?
No, why is responsibility split equality?
Because you gotta
trying to get equal pay.
Because you gotta take the bad with the good.
The extra shit. Why can't I have equal pay?
Don't you have to take the bad with the good?
No, you do not. We should have equality. Period. You see what I mean? You know what I mean?
I don't know what that means, and I don't want you to keep going.
It's making no fucking sense.
Yeah, look. Let me put this down. Let me break this down into something simple. I said it before. With increased rights and an enhancement of political capacities and powers, there is an attendant and a corresponding increase in duties and responsibilities. Bottom fucking line. Okay, that's just how it goes, man. There is no enhancement of rights and powers and capacities without the attendant increase in responsibilities and burdens. That's just how duty goes and how rights go. But there are a group of people who want the outcome, but they don't want to have equal input. They just want the equal outcome. And this is not like an assessment of the market and like what people deserve in terms of income, as much as it is about, you can't just have the world thrown at your feet and not be able to put the fucking work in. Like in any cooperative venture, there has to be input and output, but you can't do the minimum and expect the greatest amount of output. You just can't. It doesn't work like that. Go ahead.
It does for them. Full economy. We living in two different realities, right? Women are living in a reality that you're talking about. We beg women to come to a restaurant so we can sit across the table from them and watch them, the privilege of watching them eat the food that we paid for. Understand the ego that you build when that's your culture. When you hand women things for nothing simply because they're women or they got titties, and they then carry themselves like it's their entitlement to have. You can't, to some extent, even be mad, right? when you say to a woman, you know what, if that dude over there gets this 13-year-old girl pregnant, we're going to throw him in jail. But if a 13-year-old boy gets your grown ass pregnant, he's going to have to pay you child support. That's the reality we live in. Right? So that's what I'm saying. They expect these things. They're entitled to these things because they haven't been told they shouldn't be. Right? Let me ask you, for anybody here that owns a dog, right? You own a pet, you own an animal, cat, dog, whatever. You go to work. That cat is in your house all day on all the furniture that you don't want the cat on, the dog on. You know, you get home from a hard day's work. That dog is right there looking at you like, I'm hungry. You put the shit in the tray. The dog eats it. The dog jumps on the couch while you watch TV. You pet the dog. You doing all this shit from the dog. How does the dog know who the boss is? How does the dog know who's the boss? The dog is thinking, well, shit, I ain't doing shit. I get fed, I get petted, you know, they give me some water, this and that. Take me out. I gotta go take a dump. Take me out. And these women, they have the entitlement of pets. The only difference between your pet and your girl is you put your dick in one, and some dudes out here.
That's a little extreme, man.
That's a little extreme, but look,
that's a little extreme, bro. I'm just, you know, I get the point though. I get the point.
She's capping about doing a dangerous job though, because she contradicted herself later in the same sense. But go ahead, man.
No, I get it. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I just think that this is an entitled woman who wants the world thrown at her feet, and she's an attractive lady at that. So, you know, she probably is used to getting her way. I'm just like, man, fuck that shit, man. Look, I'm more of a feminist than most feminists are, man. I'm like, man, look, man, I'm not about to just be brown nosing your motherfucking ass and you ain't doing a goddamn thing. Whether, you know, like, I can't allow myself to be exploited like that, man, on a consistent basis, man. It makes me feel fucked up inside. Can't. But, you know, that's just me, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Women were oppressed for centuries. I mean,
well, that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is that men and women were oppressed for centuries. I mean, there are certain burdens that women bore that men didn't bear, but the opposite is equally true. Yeah, men suffered dreadfully, for example, in incredibly dangerous occupations.
But is a fact that women suffered more than men?
I don't believe that, no, and I don't think it is a fact. I think that most people suffered by modern standards immeasurably, and that I don't buy the historical narrative that the fundamental reality of our history was that men were oppressing women. First of all, women aren't that easy to oppress, as you might have noticed if you've ever had a relationship with them. And you might say, well, it took women a long time to struggle forward until they attained civil rights status that was equivalent to men, and I would say that's true, but it also was the case for men that it took a very long time to struggle forward before there was anything approximating individual rights, and that they were granted to women quite rapidly in the aftermath of that.
A lot of people don't like Jordan Peterson, and I don't understand why. There's things about his, you know, his philosophies that I disagree with, but I don't throw the whole man away, just like I don't throw the whole anybody away, because they can be right when they need to, you know, when they can be right when they're right, right? You know, again, women were totally fine with men doing that dangerous shit back when the dangerous shit needed to be done. And now that the dangerous shit, you know, has a lot of that stuff has been handled with the industrial revolutions that men pushed forward. Now they've been emboldened to ask for, you know, all this equality. They did not want that equality when there was dangerous work to be done. Right? They didn't want no part of it.
Yeah, my whole thing is, look, again, like you said earlier, man, whether you agree with Jordan Peterson's entire politics, I think he's right on this score. I mean, this narrative that women have been oppressed, that they've suffered and all this shit, man, that's a crock of fucking bullshit, bro. That's and the only thing that really even antagonizes me and irritates me more is the fact that it's white women that are at the head of the charge of this fucking claim, these arguments. Oh, women have suffered immeasurably. Oh, women have been subordinate, and women have been like at the bottom, and they've been forced to, drudge and toil. Look here, man. Most of humanity has been drudging and toiling, man. And that's why I went over the voting rights timeline, like in a video, I don't know how long ago it was, man. Like, women had the right to vote, like perhaps maybe like 60, 50 years after white dudes got the right to vote. But I mean, like, we act as if white men always had the right to vote, even in the United States. And it's just cap. And then if you go back to the medieval era, we already know it was a situation in which there was nobility, and then you had like vassals and paupers and serfs and shit like that. So you mean to tell me that in the context of a society that's based on medieval serfdom, that a noble woman is going to have less rights and less privileges and have a more hard life than a fucking man who's a serf? This shit, it doesn't even make fucking sense. But these are the kind of things that you are forced to endure and to accept. And every woman is piggybacking on this shit. Every woman in the world is dovetailing on the axiology and the nonsensical claims of these white chicks who, by the way, and I show it incessantly because it's the truth. These white women, I mean, they were fucking colonialists. They were they had slaves to do all of their work. They literally had women to breastfeed their fucking children so they didn't have to, bro. Now they have the nerve to talk about how fucking oppressed they are? Or how oppressed they were? These are the same women who are the catalyst and the proponents of lynching and segregation and shit like this. The same women talking about they were oppressed. It's enough to make me fucking mad, to get my blood boiling to the point where I'm about to fucking explode, man. Real talk. But, I'm going to move on, man. Fuck this shit.
But before you move on, let me address somebody in the chat. And that would be Crackhead and a Fitted. And I'll make this short. I'll make it short. Because I think he's addressing my comment as to not throwing the whole person away. When you're right, you're right. So without being blatant and obvious, well, I can't not be blatant and obvious. I'm going to say this. I am on videos on my channel because I hate when motherfuckers say shit and they don't watch my shit. That man has said things I agreed with, and that's why I'm still subscribed to that man. Okay? I'm still subscribed to that man. My opinion on him remains the same. A broken clock is right twice a day. But that man called my name and he disrespected me. So I am not obligated to pretend that some of the things that he said is problematic or isn't problematic and not address them. I call bullshit out when I see bullshit, and I'm not going to stop because you're a fan of his. Okay?
Hey, look, at the end of the day, look, I get it. So look, at the end of the day,
that man shot at me first.
So
go ahead, G. Go ahead,
yeah.
G.
So
I'm tired of addressing that shit.
I fucks with Keep It. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Dennis. At the end of the day, man, look, I don't agree with everybody on a whole bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? But this shit ain't about Dennis, man. Like, this show is about Jordan. We ain't even mentioned Dennis right now. So you know what I'm saying?
He mentioned Dennis.
I know he did. So let that shit slide, bro. I'm not you. I'm just let the shit rock, man. We on a whole different wavelength, a whole different vibe.
No, absolutely.
And to me, that kind of comment, really actually is an incitation of turmoil and
no, he said he stands corrected. I accept him correcting himself. It's listen, for me, it's not beef. If somebody says, hey man, you know what? You know, if dudes he asked me, he didn't say, why you ain't taking that approach with Dennis, you bitch ass nigga. So I wanted to address it.
Oh, come on.
Nah, because listen, now everybody in the room heard it. Right? So the more I address, the less I'll have to address it in the future. Because everybody don't get to see everything. So this ain't gonna be no long rant. It's just that, you know, and I was pretty much done, but I just wanted to address it because you know me, G. I'm not scared or afraid, or I don't duck shit. I always will have an answer that as you know, I hate to say as a man, but motherfuckers should understand because it makes sense. See, the other people, they won't have an answer. I will have an answer and a rationale that you can understand and maybe try to empathize or relate, you know, because if it was you, you do the same thing. That man shot at me, I shot back. I don't give a fuck. So next short, please.
Hey, so look.
But he apologized. He said,
yeah, okay. So let's move on, man. Let's move on.
It's all good.
I got one of my motherfuckers hit me. Hold on, check on Malcolm. He just finished the second with me today. Rue. Okay, motherfuckers is
It's all good, you know. Chat. Don't.
Hold on. Let me. I'm addressing. Like my LB, which is my line brother in Omega, right, just hit me up and said that they doing some Masonic shit now, so they crossing. I did that shit 23 years ago, but they just not doing it. So it is what it is. So anyway, man, let me get back to this, man.
I'm about to use a keyword that we're not allowed to use.
Oh my God, I don't see how that's at all relevant.
Oh, I do. Okay, so 99% of sexual perpetrators are male. And
that's false.
No, look it up right now.
What about all these women teachers that are
right? Let me get into that because this is quite literally my background. This is what I do for a living. So I can tell you that it is 99% of sexual perpetrators are male. You can look that up right now.
That's false.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is what bugs me about men who say things like that. That is willful ignorance. You can absolutely look that up and educate yourself right now, and you don't. Why?
Also, it's not true.
It is true.
On its face, it's not true.
Oh my God, you have to look it up. How can you say that's not true? What's your background? Where are your statistics coming from?
You want to go first, man?
You go first.
It is false. It is. I mean, you know, we look, G, you already know we are people who like. We look up shit for fun. We research, understand, like we are addicted to information. We are addicted to information to the point where we can just call a lot of shit off the top of our head. We are addicted. Do you agree with this claim that I'm making that we are addicted to information?
Oh, for sure. Like, especially as it pertains to matters like this.
Right. That's easily debunkable. Easily. She's talking about look it up. Look up where, like, you know, these women, they read these articles. Right. But yeah, you know, it's look, I hear what she's saying. Like, you didn't even look it up, this, that, and third. Now, he should respond just like I did. Like, that's something I've researched already. I know that it's false as soon as I hear it. I didn't know what point she was trying to make after that by saying that, but no, 99% of sexual predators are not men. So that would mean 1% of sexual perpetrators are women. 1%. Yeah, no doubt. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, bruh. It's inaccurate to claim that 99% of sexual predators are men. It's just, it's actually offensive, to be quite honest. I mean, it's patently false. But you know, like I wouldn't even have a conversation with a chick like that. I would remove myself from her presence. Bottom line, like, I mean, you like, it's just it's a bunch of bullshit. Like 99% of sexual predators are men. Like, come on, man. Like, if that's the case, then like, why are there so many reporters of made to penetrate rape in the male population? Okay, like it's patently false. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, it's patently false.
Right now, and then you have to also ask about reported cases versus non-reported cases, and you know, things like that, right? So depending on what website you pull up, you're going to get a different number. So I pulled up.
Look, I get it. Look, I get it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be different, you know. I just look. It all depends on like where you're getting this data, where you're getting these numbers from, man. Like, you know, like, and then you can't. What you can't do is look at like sites that are not like utilizing, you know, like accurate data, man. Like if you just look at like, you know, like data that's coming from, you know, like activists or, you know, like women's groups and shit like that, you're gonna get like these skewed kind of numbers that have no bearing in reality. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, because people are gonna say, you know, like men don't really actually experience sexual assault from women and shit like this. Like, it's just, you gotta think, you gotta use your head, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you have to use your head, bro. So, you know, you just gotta you go do the research yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, they say that like 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 women, 16 men are sexually assaulted while in college and shit like that. Like that right there is going to take the numbers down from like 99% of men are the ones who are doing the assaulting. It's just, it makes no sense. Okay, it's ridiculous, man. Okay.
So I found the site, I guess, that she's quoting from, and it's not like a statistic. I mean, it looks like something where they talking about sex segregated prisons now. And I first of all, I thought that we already segregated prisons by gender. That's number one. But you know, this looks like some sort of like activist thing. It doesn't look like and I'll send you the link. It doesn't look like something that is like a study. It doesn't look like a study or anything. It looks like some group of people.
I just want you to think about this. Like, think about this, bro. If 99% of sexual predators are male, then how do women who are lesbians get sexually predated?
You said how do men what?
How do lesbians, because they predate each other. They engage in predatory behavior with each other.
Oh, absolutely.
So how can it be the case that 99% of sexual predators are men when they are predating each other? It doesn't even, man, I'm not, look, all I can say is, man, this women, like, you got a lot of women who like to take all of the evil in the world and dump it in the lap of men. And it's bullshit. It's absolute fucking bullshit.
Right.
But, you know, like, I'm not going to keep going into that. We got a little bit more terrain to cover, dog. So, you know, to me, I think I'm going to have to do a show about this again, because I'm tired of hearing these fake ass numbers come up, which basically say that, you know, women are the victims of all evil in the world, even like sexual assault and, you know, rape. But like, you know, women are like just these angels and they never do anything wrong. It's patently false, man. It's patently false. But let's move ahead, bro.
So I believe the reason why most women believe they are not average, because we have now created the ability to where average women can turn into top-notch women. Let me explain. Between makeup, wigs, hair extensions, filters, body enhancements, any unattractive woman can turn herself into an attractive woman, whether permanent or temporarily. We have the ability to change our look. And because we have the ability to change our look, we think that we are more attractive than we actually are, when really your attraction is mainly based on how you look naturally, right? Because eventually that person's gonna have to see what you look like without all of those things on. And regardless of what you put on externally, it's gonna come through your kids' DNA.
I'm gonna talk first on this, and then I'm gonna give it to you, and then we can move on, man. Look, one part of that is correct, namely that like your natural self is really actually the self that determines whether you're beautiful or not. Okay, and then the first portion of it, like the idea that every woman has access to beauty now. I'm gonna give that a big fat you a goddamn lie. It's not the case, man. It's not true. So on that score, all I can say is wrong answer. You can put lipstick on a pig, okay? But at the end of the day, it's still a lipstick with pig on. Everybody can't be made beautiful with the enhancements, bro. I'm sorry. So it is what it is. But go ahead, bro.
Gigi, you my man. But I'm gonna have to go the other way on this. I think that we're way past the lipstick enhancement. We're turning niggas into bitches. Okay? We're turning men into women.
Bro,
No.
Bro,
There's more.
some niggas, let me just say this shit. Because here's where the interjection must be had. Okay? And it's gonna sound sus, but it's some niggas that just are naturally more attractive than some bitches. In terms of just like their facial features, like their ratio of beauty, on the scale of whether or not they actually meet the, so-called ratios that bestow beauty on anybody.
I mean, I understand that.
I'm not trying to, there's no homo by saying that, but it's if you're an ugly woman, you're an ugly ass woman. If you're an ugly dude, you're an ugly dude. So if you're a decent looking dude, I guess, you know what I'm saying? And, I guess you can turn that decent looking shit into some shit that could be quote unquote pretty. You know what I'm saying? But like at the end of the day, if you fucked up, man, in your facial features, man, I'm sorry, man. You just can't get around it, bro. It ain't no way around it, bro.
No, there absolutely is. What I'm saying to you is this, right? Your ability to buy your beauty is limited by how much money you got to spend. I've seen, bro, I'm telling you, I've seen it, right? So I understand what you just said, but when you talk about conventional cosmetics, then what you say makes sense to a point, because I've seen conventional cosmetics. I've seen magic at the MAC counter, bro. Understand the shit that I've done with women in my lifetime and the shit that I've seen done, right?
Look, I understand you work in you work in the magazine industry.
No. It's beyond that. We are reconstructing these bitches into different people. I know girls who used to work with us who are somebody else now. You heard of the porn star Mariah Mills? She didn't look like that at all. You understand what I'm saying? Like, bro, she became somebody else totally. And I think that, again, because we don't come into that often enough, we think it doesn't exist. I've seen these females restructure, facial reconstruction, body reconstruction. If you got the bread, there's guys out there, there's doctors out there that can transform you if you got the bread to do it, or if somebody's sponsoring it. I'm telling you the truth. Most people can't afford to do it, but it can happen, is my point.
Yeah, look, I get it. I understand, I get it. But, I think some people, are hit with the ugly stick so much so, that, they gonna need like extensive motherfucking like Lee Majors type motherfucking reconstructive surgery to get them to the point. So, and look, like I said before, no homo, but like it's some niggas that's hit with ugliness just like it's women hit with ugliness, man. It's some men hit with handsomeness and beauty just like it's women hit with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like beauty is not something that only affixes or attaches itself to women.
No, that's not my point.
So at the end of the day, all I'm saying, I've seen like drag queens that motherfucker, you done all the makeup and shit, and you look hit.
Because them women ain't doing it to the level I'm describing. Understand that these surgery procedures are getting cheaper, especially when these chicks are getting on planes and getting this shit done. So it's understand that the person who is already symmetrically, facially structured, beauty, whatever, has less work to do than somebody who's more hit. What I'm saying is the more hit person, I'm telling you, bro, the more hit person has access if they have the money or if they can fly out of this country and see these doctors that are outside of the country. Is becoming more common that these girls, and I'm telling you, as time flies, as time passes by, you'll see more of it. It's just like the DVD was $2,000 when it came out. Now you buy a DVD player for $25. These girls can go to these places and get anything done. Remember, the booties used to be that hard caulk or silicone. Now they getting fat moved from one place to another, and they got ass now that feel like a real ass. So what I'm saying is these technologies that they're advancing for these cosmetic procedures is getting so crazy that you think, oh yeah, this person is hit, they stuck being hit. No, bro, I'm telling you, bro, they can go out there if they got the money and they go to the right doctor. That hit shit can be fixed. Now, somebody mentioned Leslie Jones. I don't think Leslie Jones is in the realm to go and get a lot of this stuff done that she could go get done, and I don't think that she wants to do it. And if she did it, we would notice. But I'm just saying that shit is real, bro. They can. I'm telling you, the most.
And I mean, and another thing. Also, I just want to make this shit clear, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whiteness to me doesn't necessarily imply beauty. So
right, I'm not saying that either.
I'm not saying you saying that, but just for anybody out there who wants to think that way, I think it's some ugly ass white motherfuckers. Cause so beauty can affix or attach itself across races and across gender or sex, if you want to say it that way, or attractiveness in general. Okay, like if you fuck, it's ugly ass looking dudes and it's ugly ass women of all races and nationalities and creeds. It is what it is. Okay. Now, and I'm kind of like agreeing with Ted Gunderson here. I can see a 1 to 5 transition, but I can't see a 1 to a motherfucking 10. Shout out to Ted Gunderson there.
Y'all have it. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not even going to debate it because I've seen it.
Yeah, and also like Adam says, could you please get the likes? I don't know who's watching or how many likes I have at this point. I just don't know. But if I got 134 people watching, and I ain't got 50 likes, I'm gonna say, man, get my likes up, man, please.
Tonight is gonna be a like dictatorship tonight. I'm just letting anybody know who's on my stream tonight. Is gonna be a likes dictatorship on that motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying? I got 130 people watching. I got 109 likes. Please, can we get the likes up a little bit? Okay. Also, let's just continue to push through this, man.
So black women, we have to talk. We have to talk about our personal safety. First, we have to face the facts that we are not liked. We are hated by many different groups of people. It's way past time that we accepted this fact. And some of these groups of people they mean to do us physical harm. There are black men out there that hate us, they detest us, and they are publicly speaking out on the internet and encouraging each other to do us harm to the point of unaliving us. We cannot run around these streets living in La La Land anymore. We really can't. We're focused on white supremacists, MAGA terrorists. We're focused on them. Meanwhile, black men are a threat to us.
Go ahead.
She's projecting because I would say the reality is the opposite. I would love for any black woman that feels this way to lead me to where black men are congregating and talking about committing violence against black women. I'm in some of the worst groups on Facebook where motherfuckers talk about women recklessly, right? Recklessly. And a lot of the stuff that they're saying in those groups are not about harming women. It's about choosing different or, maybe their physical features or this or that, right? Now, when you listen to the divestors, you go on Clubhouse or something like that, these are women who either want to see you harmed or want to harm you. Okay. So I would like to see crime stats that reflect that black women are the targets of all this hate, and not just by us, but by the greater world, because nowhere in their top 10 causes of death is homicide, and homicide is the number 4 cause of death in black men. So I would argue that everybody hates black men. Shout out to Ed, right? Everybody hates us, black men, and that truth is reflected in the numbers. So that's propaganda she's spitting. Go ahead, doctor.
Yeah, man. All that is a reiteration of the whole notion that like the intra-racial black brute who's aiming to whiteness and frustration, and he can't really actually attain it. So he lashes out at the people closest to him in order to to get some sort of validation of his manhood and his masculinity. And it's a lie, for one. And then for two, I always I don't have statistics for the rape thing, and I know Dr. Johnson has that information, so I'm gonna ask him for it and get it at some point about like the male versus female sexual assault statistic, like in general in society writ large. We're not talking about in prison populations. We're not talking about like trans or gay or prison population, because like they people like to take things out of context and then use misleading statistics in order to try to demonstrate a point that has no bearing on reality whatsoever. But like if you look at, and I showed this stat the other day, let me show it again. I'm gonna present it, share the screen. I'm gonna look for fiber. Let's see, fiber. Oh man, God, did I misspell it? Fiber. Here it is, right here. Soon. Here it is. Now I can't make it very large. I can't make it large for some reason. I can't make it larger than what it is. But in general, just so people understand. And I'm waiting for the Microsoft Word to open up. It's taking its time. Okay, let me close this really quickly. All right. So let me open the Windows, Microsoft Word, assaults. So, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know how legible it is, but I can tell you what it is. So References examining assaults by women on their spouses or male partners, and annotated bibliography. This bibliography was developed by a psychologist. His name is Martin Fibert. The department that he works in is California State University, Long Beach. And the abstract of the annotated bibliography is as follows. This bibliography examines 343 scholarly investigations, 270 empirical studies, 73 reviews and/or analyses which demonstrate that women are as physically aggressive or more aggressive than men in their relationships with their spouses or male partners. So the sample size of the study is close to 500,000, which, by the way, for social science, that's a large sample size, okay? So there's numerous studies, again, over 270 and empirical studies and 73 reviews or analyses that demonstrate that women are doing the same shit. They're violent as well. They're assaulting their partners as well. And they're killing their male partners as well. So the very idea that, like, you know, there's just some sort of predation happening to women that's unique to women, it's not also unique to men, or it's not shared by men, it's hyperbolic. It's inaccurate. It's bullshit. Now, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you're gonna, you know, have people with anecdotal evidence about how they've been wronged and shit like this, but vice versa. Abuse is not a phenomenon that women suffer from unilaterally. So we need to stop the lie. These lies aren't getting us anywhere, okay? It's not improving the quality of relationships, or it's not diminishing the violence that exists within the context of intimate partner relationships or societal relationships in general. It's just not, it's not happening. And because we're not being truthful and honest about it, we're not actually investigating the problem as it exists within the context of our communities. It's not happening, okay? So, having said that, man, shout out to Salty Balls, man. Again, give him a bomb real quick. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Just know this. Go on the internet. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to provide a link. Fiber, domestic violence, bibliography. Okay.
I mean,
so look, I'm just gonna I'm gonna make here is a all you got to do is look up Fiber annotated bibliography DV and you'll find it. But here's like, you know, like an iteration of it online somewhere. Okay. Now go look it up elsewhere though. Don't look it up just there as well. I mean, you know, by itself. But look for it in various places. Okay, that's what I would say. But the information is there. Okay. So go ahead, my brother. And we'll move on.
What I'm saying is, you know, aside from whatever, you know, proof of what they're doing to us, outside of even bringing that up, she made an argument that Black women are public enemy number one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then Black men, like, let's be frank about this. Keep it, man, because we can't spend too much time on it. But she's saying that spaces like the one we exist in are inciting violence and represent a danger to women, particularly Black women. Like the conversation we're having now is inherently dangerous to Black women because it's fostering an attitude in Black men that's going to give them, you know, like an inclination to have violent encounters or reactions with Black women that they, you know, come into contact with, which is bullshit. Like, how many times, I mean, I say some pretty deprecating shit about women at times, but I say some pretty deprecating shit about men as well. Okay? Now, at the end of the day, I'm not asking for men to go hurt anybody. More than anything else, Black men in this space are demanding, or not demanding, but requesting that Black men protect themselves from the fuckery that exists out there that everybody denies that exists. So that's all I got to say about it. So I done said as much as I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
On that, you got something else to say about that?
Nah, we can go to the next one.
Why y'all keep thinking my 7 baby mamas are black? I wouldn't fuck a black woman with a hazmat suit on. Why would I want black babies? 9 times out of 10, they gonna be aborted. And 10 out of 10, that black baby ain't gonna have no married black parents. So why would I even try to procreate with a black woman? You got white women, Asian women, Mexicans, then black. Which one you think I want? I want the top tier, baby. Stop assuming that I got 7 black women pregnant when you don't even know me. Talking about I'm affecting the black community. Y'all got the wrong nigga. And another thing, black women got the most baby daddies. Now, think about that shit. Black women are averaging 1.5 to 2 baby daddies. Why would I want something like that? And this...
Pookie.
Do you own a gun?
Huh?
Do you own a gun?
Hold on. I didn't mean for that to go. Go ahead, though.
Ratchet deserve ratchet. And that's a phrase that I probably said it on one of my streams, but I've been saying that shit forever. I've always said ratchet deserve ratchet. It's like, okay, he has points, but he shouldn't be the one making them.
Here's my view on this shit. First of all, I think he has internalized racism for one. Like I don't think.
But there's that, yeah.
I think that there's internalized racism. I think that he is correct though in saying that people's assumption that his baby mamas are black. That he's correct about that because we don't know. So to assume that he's somehow like doing something to black women, we don't know what type of women he's associating himself with. So I mean, I think that was his main point. But he did do some black women bashing though throughout the the course of his soliloquy there.
What did he say? How so?
I mean, he basically was like, okay, well, I don't fuck with you black bitches. Now, I mean, he said that, first of all, y'all have a lot of you have a lot of baby daddies, which may or may not be true for some women. He's saying that
we know the single mother rate.
Right. Okay. So he also says that, they abort the babies, that they aren't married, which, I get it. So he's basically saying black women are the bottom of the barrel. I don't fuck with them bitches. That's what he said.
Well, is that what he means? Because if what he said is those factual statements, I wouldn't say that that's bashing. We say that stuff, right?
Yeah.
He said, black women are ugly, they stink, they look like monkeys, and this and that. Then I would say that's bashing. You understand?
Right.
Like, yeah, let's not do the thing where we're saying, okay, this guy's getting up there saying some factual things that would turn a man off for wanting to be with them, and then next week we cite these same things on one of these videos, and then when people say the black manosphere is bashing black women, we get mad. It can't be different when somebody else says it versus what we're saying. My thing is, this man has 7 baby mothers. He can't be talking about women with 7
yeah, I mean, yeah,
right?
Yeah, I get that. So yeah, like this is what I say, right? And I mean this, right? It takes 2 people to have a baby, right? Like, unless, of course, the woman goes and gets sperm from a fucking sperm clinic, or they get a donor just to get the, to get the sperm, and, they use it however they use it, or whatever the case may be, right? But, like, this guy's, clearly he's sexually irresponsible.
Absolutely.
Clearly he's sexually irresponsible, man. Clearly.
He's as sexually irresponsible as
the hoes he's complaining about.
Right, but his only point that he can really stand on is, you don't know that my 7 baby mothers are black, but it's a good guess that a couple of them may be. It's a good guess. right?
Yeah,
But
I would
it,
assume.
it's
I
still,
would assume that. I would assume that the lion's share of the women he fuck with are black. This
it,
kid,
okay.
I don't know. We don't know. Okay, unless those women step up and say, "That's that nigga right there. That's my." But like, I mean, who wants to embarrass themselves after that shit? I don't know. I know if I was a woman, I wouldn't. Okay.
Well, let's say he had 7 baby mothers who were not black. Let's say that's the truth. Okay. What does this mean?
It just means that it means to me that he's still sexually irresponsible, regardless.
It means that, and it if the 7 baby daddies that these women had were doctors and lawyers, they still sexually irresponsible. The thing is, again, that's the only point of contention he has. Outside of that, he sounds stupid. Like, you got 7 baby mothers. Okay, how does it make your case better that they're non-black women?
Yeah, to me it
Because
doesn't.
you
It doesn't.
chose better women. You chose better women to spread your seed to. I'm ready to go to the next one. That was some dumb shit.
But at the end of the day, let me just say this. I think at the end of the day, like it takes 2 to tango. So men are responsible for children being, born. Like, if you don't wrap it up, okay, you're responsible for that shit. Okay, be careful what you do. And I caution men, be careful with your seed. You gotta be careful with your seed.
Yeah, you do.
But at the end of the day, I also tell women, you are the gatekeeper to sex and reproduction. You are the gatekeepers of chastity and reproduction. Period.
So
Unless there's an assault, you are the gatekeeper of chastity and reproduction. Bottom line. And if you don't allow or permit for yourself to be fucked in the heat, then no fucking in heat occurs.
But that debunks 2 to tango. The reason I used to say
it does take 2 to tango. It does take 2 to tango. Well, look, all I'm saying is, if you are a woman, it doesn't debunk it, because 2 things can be, true at the same time. It takes 2 to tango. I'm telling women, don't fucking tango. The consequences for women and men are drastic as it pertains to offspring. Okay, there's a financial responsibility that both people have to bear. Okay, there are time commitments and nurturance, and like time, and if there are cultivation commitments that are connected to children. Okay, and if you're not ready for that part of the commitment, don't fuck around and create a situation where a child might be a possibility. It's fucking simple.
Listen, bro.
Men, to me, men got to be responsible with their seed. But men are not the gatekeepers of chastity and reproduction, and never have been. But go ahead.
If tangoing is sex, then yes, it takes 2 to have sex. It takes 2 to conceive. It does not take 2 to carry a child into labor and to give birth. Men use contraception because they participate in conception, right? So men can help to conceive. Women take birth control because they control birth. Tangoing does not always result in those things. So it's like, if you drop your money off at the bank and you leave and then your money's missing, yeah, you left it at the bank, but some function after the fact resulted in your money being gone. Women will tell you, my body, my choice. It is their ultimate choices that lead to childbirth.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying in so many words,
okay,
bro.
so then the 2 to tango shit don't mean nothing, because I done tangled with a lot of bitches and I ain't got no kids. And it took 2 to do all those tangos. It does not take 2 to give birth. tangoing is not the end result, or does not always result in childbirth. And that's why I don't like that particular phrase, because it implies that, that is in finality what results in childbirth. Women take birth control, men use contraceptives. Men do not use birth control because we do not control births. Period. The
only thing a man can do is to take spermicide and put it on a condom, or not fuck.
Well, these are contraceptives. Contraceptive meaning anti-conception, right? Someone says men do not use contraceptions. Well, they do when they want to. Anything
I'm using a condom. Fuck that bullshit. I'm not fucking raw dog out here, especially like Eddie Murphy said a long time ago, man. Nowadays, you put it in the pussy, man, your dick explode.
Anything that men do is a barrier to conception, okay? Because first you got to conceive, all right? A conception isn't a birth. A birth is a birth. That's why these chicks are saying we should have abortion rights because a fetus is not a child. That's their argument, right? So then we can't say that conceptions are births while also saying, we're not killing babies. You see the
I get the point, man. I get look. All I'm saying is I'm saying what you're saying in a different kind of way, but I am saying this. Women are the gatekeepers of reproduction. You can either use that to say they're the ones who decide if the birth is going to carry itself to,
I agree with
commencement or whatever the case may be. If it's going to actually lead to a birth, they're the ones who control it, okay? They're the ones who also allow men into their vaginas.
Right.
Now, women have to be more careful than men, one would think. But, I mean, of course, the laws are such that men, it serves as, I think child support does, and paternity law serves as a deterrent to some degree, of men. Apparently not for many men, but for a lot of men, I think it serves as a deterrent. Like, don't just go running up in these chicks raw, because it could wind up the case that you got to pay child support for 18 to 20 years. And who wants to do that? Okay? So you got, a man has to be careful because he knows what can happen. But ultimately, a woman is the final arbiter on who comes into the world. No, especially in this country.
I agree with the idea that men need to be careful, but they only need to be careful with women who would choose to have the child while he doesn't desire the child. There's an infinite amount of choices that a woman makes to where she ends up with a child in her hands, right?
But the choice that you do have, is the choice not to put yourself in a predicament to where the woman has all the leverage.
I understand. I'm not debating that. What I'm saying is, I'm saying a lot of what you're saying, and the only point where we differ is that right there. You understand what I'm saying? Again, men do not create births; they create conceptions.
I get it. So let's move.
Mm-hmm.
We live in New York.
The gun laws ain't the same. I would if I could, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, have you ever gotten into a physical altercation with somebody?
Yeah.
Then you're not a feminist.
What?
Innately, feminists are nonviolent. That's one of the main pillars of feminism. You cannot, feminism is an idea.
So the minute you defend yourself, you're not feminist?
Huh?
So the minute you defend yourself, you're not feminist?
So if you, what?
She might know what she talking about.
You want to roll that again from the beginning? Because I think you started off kind of in the middle somewhere.
Not really. The main thrust of the conversation that she was having was that you can't be a feminist and be violent. As soon as you engage in violence, you're not a feminist.
That's like saying you can't be a vegan if you wear a leather jacket.
I mean, ultimately, you know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then a whole bunch of feminist women can't be feminists. The founder of second wave feminism was violent. Audre Lorde was violent. I mean, so half of the women, you know, like that had lesbian, you know, like communes and shit. Like a lot of them chicks was violent, and they were feminists. Like I mean, the idea that it's just a bad argument anyway. You know, it's just like, you know, okay, well, you can't really actually be a communist and have a job or some shit like that. It's just some stupid shit, bro. It doesn't make sense, man. I put it in there because I just wanted to articulate the idea that there are a lot of feminists that are violent, who have advocated for violence, that, you know, have slogans related to violence. I mean, like, I showed a documentary where it was a group of women that had like a slogan in Britain, like, kill men now, ask me how. Like, and you think I'm bullshitting, I'm not bullshitting at all. That was their slogan. Look, kill men now, ask me how. They had like buttons and shit. All kind of crazy shit, man. Kill men now, ask me how.
Well,
let me show you. You got to see this. It's better seen than said. Let me share, copy. Hold on. Okay, I gotta share. Let me present. Share the screen. Kill men now, ask me how. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear it?
Kill men now, ask me how. It was a badge that we had mass made for a meeting.
Now those are British feminists. So like, come on, man. Just cut the bullshit, man. At the end of the day, man. Like, yeah, a feminist can be violent, bro. Let me move to the next one.
I got a DNA test kit from like CVS a few days ago, and I did a little swab on Zaria and
DNA test?
Yeah.
What possessed you to do that?
A good source told me. He was just like, like, check it out, something don't seem right. Yeah, and I didn't believe him. I just did it, hoping he was wrong. No, seriously, I'm telling you, and I'm hoping he was wrong.
Oh my God.
And it came back. It came back negative.
Negative?
Yeah, it came back negative.
Zaria is your child. DNA diagnostic center? What is this?
It's a fucking DNA test. I'm sorry.
Why the fuck would you do
It's a
this?
DNA.
But why?
It's a
Babe, why
DNA.
would you do
It's a
this?
DNA wrong. I've been taking care for 3 years, and you're telling me and that you don't.
It doesn't
That's
matter.
bullshit.
Women are some of the most trifling, betraying, deceitful people who try to act so innocent and sweet. They'll look you right in your face and lie to you. But as I said before, DNA testing needs to be a law, a mandatory law to protect men.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree. You should know if that's your kid. But their opinion is it doesn't matter. What possessed you to do that? You did what? You went to actually check to see if this was your kid? You mean you didn't believe me?
Yeah.
Not that, like, damn, I'm sorry, or damn, I fucked up, or damn. Why did you have the audacity to go determine what the truth is for yourself? And then it doesn't matter. What difference do it make? That's some rotten gut shit. I don't know why there isn't a law, or why people are opposed to there being a law.
You know why? You know why there ain't a law.
Why? Because it's a whole bunch of motherfuckers lying?
No, women outnumber us in voting. I keep telling you that. Y'all disagree with me. Women make up the larger share of the voters. There are more women here than men.
I feel you.
This ain't about, this ain't even about Victorian womanhood and none of that shit. No, this is about politics. If I push a bill to do some mandatory shit, I'm gonna get outvoted because there are more women, and that is a women's thing. That ain't a black woman's thing or nothing. No, that's something that a lot of women are holding down. They holding that shit down. When they do this paternity fraud shit, it ain't just about black people.
Yeah, fam. You know, to me it's fucked up though. You know, the whole idea that you're supposed to be fine with taking care of somebody else like you got cupped. And nigga don't want to, man, look, nigga don't want to take care of somebody else's shit, man. One of the prime directives in life of any organism is to reproduce. So you thinking, you know, that's your kid, but it's somebody else's, man, that's fucked up to do. But, you know, it is what it is. Chicks do it all day.
A disturbing video shows the moment this woman attacked a street vendor stand in Oakland, California. And as soon as we get information on this woman that did this, we will post all the updates on this page right here. Make sure you hit that follow button.
Well, she's obviously not a feminist.
My whole thing is, bro, I'm sorry, bro, man. If that was my stand or some shit like that, man, I might have had to do the ludicrous on her. Throw them bowls. Sorry. Now, you can say that's inciting violence or some shit, man. You can't just tear my shit up. Sorry. Can't do it.
That inciting violence?
You can't kick over my stand, fuck up my property like that, and I'm just going to be cool with it. Fuck that. No, sir.
That's not inciting violence. Violence is already happening. Inciting violence is when there ain't no violence and you start some violence. You incite it. If you are the violence is already happening. I can't incite violence.
Well, there's some people who say that you can't enact violence against property, but you can incite violence against people. There's some people who say that, like, if you destroy a piece of property, that's not violence. What do you say to that?
There's laws where you got the right to protect people and property.
That's true. This is true.
That's on the books.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let no white, black, red, brown, no type of chick, man, dog, animal. I'm not gonna let nobody just fuck up my shit. Sorry, will not allow it. But anyway, let's push it.
In my opinion, and I could be wrong, but this is my take. You have some females that are out here that I don't need a man. You know, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it how I do it. You know what I mean? Then you have men out here. Well, look, I ain't a female gonna do what I say and gonna do it how I do it, or if not, then she can roll. You know what I mean? And those are two toxic type ideologies. You know what I mean? And so, like, in my household, because I'm gonna be transparent, in my household, see, I'm married to a real man. See, my husband used to be a street nigga back in the day, with much respect still in the streets. But we have a relationship where we respect each other, right? Now, do I sometimes go off on that joker? Oh, yeah. I go off on him if it's something that I don't like, right? But what I notice about him, he don't argue with me. You know that? He don't argue with me at all. He'll turn around and be like, you right. You right. And that make me even more mad.
There's so much problematic about that shit, man. Like, you know, she came in trying to talk about women being toxic and shit, and men also being toxic. But, you know, to me, she just demonstrated that she's a toxic ass woman.
Yeah, and then you know, and her husband deals with it, so he's a real man.
Right, and then not only that,
goofy shit.
The other indication that he was a real man is because he was a street nigga. Like that is an indicator or some sort of litmus test to whether or not he's a real man. You know, like he was a street nigga. He's a real street nigga. Like, come on, man, lady. Like, stop it, man.
Well, she just said he was a street dude and he's still in the streets, and you know, she felt, I guess, that she had.
No, he still got respect in the streets, but you know, he was. She did use the term past tense, was. Okay, now, you know, my whole thing is, man, stop. You from the hood, I'm from the hood. Like, I'm from one of the worst hoods in St. Louis. But that doesn't make me a fucking man just because I came from that area. The chicks need to stop this shit, man. But that is proof positive for a lot of guys who make the argument or the case that a lot of women, black women in particular, they connotate masculinity and manhood with street shit. A lot of them do. Like, I don't understand like where this shit comes from. Manhood, street shit, or maybe perhaps it's just your propensity to be able to commit acts of violence somehow is an indicator of your manliness or some shit like that.
Well, you know, I say this. You know, we know that there are a lot of black women that come from those areas and they are masculine themselves. The masculine women needs a man that's hyper masculine. In order for a masculine woman to find you attractive, you have to be more masculine than she is. The more her masculinity, the higher her masculinity, the higher your masculinity has to be to offset it. Not only that, they want you again to be the killer, but you won't do them harm, right? They want to know that you can commit violence, but they don't want to be the recipients of said violence. That's why he's a real man, because he's a street dude that ain't doing street shit to her. Well, at least she didn't include that. He might be whooping her ass for all we know, but she's saying, you know.
Check what Houston look. Houston say, I think she is on the city council or a sheriff in Houston. But I mean, look, bro. All I can say is, man, look. Do I go off on that joke? Which means that you're argumentative and you give him problems with your mouth. That's all I heard. Do I get like if he make me mad, but like you know what, he don't argue with me and that make me even more madder. In other words, you trying to provoke some bullshit. You know, like I just like that's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't stand chicks to do that shit, bro. But anyway.
for me, the real man definition comes in context with the fact that she can talk all that shit, and he'll say you're right and roll with it. Like, you know, that's the whole real man shit. Yeah, she admitted to being toxic and then said that her dude ain't toxic. At least this is the story she's telling the public. My man is dealing with my toxicity, therefore he's a real man. Oh, and he's a street nigga. But there's all these relationships with toxic men and women. Okay, continue, bro. Goofy shit.
When you grow up in the hood, we can all be gangster.
Right. Yeah.
I watch niggas do nigga shit my whole life. When you grow up in the bricks, you know what it is. I know niggas in Rikers serving life that I grew up with, that I used to play in the playgrounds with. Right. I just chose not to go to that park with them. I went somewhere else. I chose to do other things. My mother was like, street lights come on, bring your black ass upstairs. My dad was like, I was more afraid of my dad's bell than anything. So that kept me out of trouble. When you young black men without fathers get into a lot more trouble. A mother is different than a father. A father will strike fear in your ass. A mother, you could argue with. At a point, a boy, 13, 14 years old, Ma, I could take you. Nah, I got hair on my dick. Now, you can't take me. Those slaps don't work. Those belts don't hurt.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I tend to agree with him, but I disagree with the idea that them belts don't hurt. The motherfuckers do hurt.
Now,
but not as much as they did. Now,
yeah, when you're 17, 18 years old, you know, your mom shit can get bobbed, weaved, ducked, you know, parry, spin, dodge, thrust.
But I tell you what, look, man, look. Real talk, man. I used to live with, you know, like for a summer, I lived with this lady, man, that my mother knew and shit. And she sent me off to stay with her and shit, you know, like, and her son. And, you know, smart woman, you know what I'm saying, nice lady and all that, family nice, whatever the case may be. They took me in, but I did some shit she ain't like. And she hit me in the back with a motherfucking skillet, nigga. I ain't even see the shit coming.
Well,
so
skillet
all that
is,
shit about, huh?
Skillet is a skillet. Belt is a different thing. Skillet.
Man, she hit me with a die cast not one of these newfangled Kevlar. I mean, not Teflon fucking skillets. The old school iron die cast boy. I'm like, what
I know
the
what you're talking about.
feminine I just like that shit hurt, boy. You know what I'm saying? I was mad as a motherfucker too. I was super hot. You know what I'm saying?
If a little chick hit you with a hammer, that shit'll hurt. You know how often that shit happening though. Yeah, cast iron. Yeah, so it's like, I got a lot of cast iron in here. I got a whole bunch of. I'm a cook. I like cooking. I cook food. Anyway, I'm saying, if she hits you, look, if your mama shoots you, it'll hurt. Okay, I'm not saying that nothing your wife, your mama do gonna hurt, but them ass whoopings, them conventional ass whoopings ain't the same as when you.
No, they not, bro.
If she gonna raise the threat level to meet your resistance, then we having a different conversation.
I remember the moment where my OG knew that she couldn't whip my ass no more. You know what I'm saying? It happened when she tried to hit me with a broom or some shit. You know what I'm saying? She picked up the broom and tried to hit me with the motherfucking. I just caught the shit, and I caught it with one hand, and I think it was my left hand. I don't know, whatever it was. I caught it with the left hand, and she tried to get it away from me. And she was using both hands, struggling to get it away, and I just was using one hand. Like, she's like, let go of this damn broom. I was like, sorry, can't do it.
Right.
I'm,
with the belt.
Say, can't do this. Can't allow that to occur.
Right. You get the fit too big enough. She can't do the shit no more. Like, okay, she snuck you with the pan or whatever. But what I'm saying is, that little kid shit with the belt or this, or she's trying to get you with her bare hands, you could dodge that shit like Floyd Mayweather do. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean nothing no more because you're big enough, not to even say you're gonna hit your moms, but you could defend. You got your defense is crazy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get it. But it all depends on like, who your mama is too though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you just gotta
your mama
be
Layla Ali.
Yeah, like or some chick the other day. I showed a video. Motherfuckers was like looking at me like, "No, man, that ain't no normal chick." I'm like, man, that hefty duty ass chick, man, that motherfucking chick deadlifted 600 pounds, nigga. I'm like, man, that's a strong ass woman, man.
Yeah, not common though.
Hey,
Mama Tyler Perry and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that woman, man, deadlifted 600 pounds, my dude. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you this shit. This is real quick. I done, man, if a chick like that coming to me, man, I'm not fucking around playing no games, dog. I'm gonna knock her ass into the stratosphere if I have to. It is what it is.
Hold on, let me see. You ain't talking about who I think you're talking about. Oh, you talking about her?
Walcott, your current record holder.
She got sniffles and shit.
Looking to surpass that now at 641.
Come on, Tamara, get this weight. We want to see this.
Playing with house money here.
Yes, she is. And barehanded, no straps.
There you.
No straps,
yes.
baby. The grip strength on that motherfucker is immense.
Get this weight.
641 for a new record for Tamara Walcott.
Get this weight. Come on. Off the ground, here it comes. It's to the knees. She's got it. Keep going. Yes. Wow.
And Walcott has done it.
Wow, barehanded.
641.
He-Man.
Bro, that's a strong woman right there, bro. No doubt.
He-Man.
That's a strong ass lady, man. Real talk. It is what it is. So anyway, man, we moving on, man.
Race goal, nigga.
I come home 2 days early to this, bro. All in the drawer. We supposed to get married in 2 weeks. Bro, they're everywhere though. Babe, where you at? You at home? Where I'm at home right now, bro. Bro, what's this in your drawer?
Bro.
What's this in your drawer?
What's in my drawer?
Bro, quit playing me like you. Bro, I'm not stupid, bro. What's up? What we doing?
Why are you popping up today early? Like, why are you home?
Bro, what you mean popping up? I live here, bro. We get married in 2 weeks. What you mean popping up?
Off Saturday, so why are you?
It don't matter when I'm supposed to get off, bro. Oh my God, bro. I'm about to go crazy. I'm really about to go crazy right now, bro. Where you at?
I'm about to call you back. Hold on.
Bro, quit playing with me, bro. I swear to God, bro. Hang up.
She with another nigga right now. Now you know, Playboy. Go ahead.
I'm trying to understand what all the conversation is about. Or what's this in the drawer? Like, what do you want her to tell you?
Shit, there's some condoms in this motherfucker. I'm getting my fuck on before I get married. And while I'm married, nigga, now what?
You know the answer to the question already. You done found the evidence. What's to talk about?
Now you know, Playboy. You know, just that confrontation. You know what I'm saying? But I feel you. Last one, bro.
I'm trying to move, please.
It wasn't bedtime, and
I'm trying to leave, please.
Sleeping in the bed with me.
I'm trying.
I didn't say that. What's the Wi-Fi password? What's the Wi-Fi password, Joe? What's the Wi-Fi password? What's the Wi-Fi password? You really want me to call the cops for this? Wi-Fi?
Go for it. What are they gonna do? They're gonna laugh at you.
Abusive narcissist.
I'm not doing anything.
Raped me.
I haven't done anything.
Yep, you've done everything.
I haven't done anything.
I've touched my kids too.
Your thoughts?
What? So then why are you still here if I'm such a threat?
Leaving. You want to die?
Yeah, good. That's right there. Good.
Okay.
Good.
So Joseph.
So yeah, exactly. You're such a contradicting lying
What's the
bitch.
Wi-Fi password? I wake up to the Wi-Fi being off. No warning, nothing.
Stop it. Get some help. I'm about to get naked here. I don't feel comfortable with you being here.
Unfortunate, right? Because
So I will call the cops for sexual harassment.
How? Seriously?
Are you stupid or something?
I don't know if I missed something, but all of this is over the Wi-Fi.
There's got to be something deeper than the Wi-Fi, bro. For motherfuckers to be going through that kind of motherfucking argumentation. The only thing I say is, what's the police? Why the police got to get involved in the shit? That's the thing I got a problem with. But like, I've seen this before. Like, I've been in situations where a woman threatened to call the police over some stupid shit. Like, the police are not your personal minions to make sure that your, bidding in the world gets, brought to fruition. That's some bullshit. But I mean,
no, in your reality, the police are not your personal security. Let me tell you something. The police are personal security for bottom shelf Brad, Karen, black women, everybody but you. We have this idea that they're not personal security for anybody, but guess what? These motherfuckers show up and they do the exact bidding of everybody that I just named. Again, your dog thinks that he run the show, and these chicks, they call 911 and the police show up and do exactly what they need them to do. So if nobody's telling them, hey, we're the police, we're not your personal royal guard. If nobody's saying it,
then they are. De facto, they are the royal guard.
And not only de facto are they the royal guard, but again, you can't, if these women believe it and nobody's telling them that it is incorrect, then you gotta understand to some logical degree why they believe it. They believe it, right?
Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, I guess. I mean, why not? Shit, if you call on the police and all you get is, okay, ma'am, yes, ma'am, okay, ma'am, yes, ma'am, ma'am, okay, you want him out? Okay, ma'am, he's gone.
And then they throw that motherfucker in handcuffs and drag him out of the place. Then, of course, anytime shit go left, you're going to call 911 and the cops show up and do exactly what you need them to do.
Yeah, so, at the end of the day, man, that's a fucked up part of the game. That's proxy violence. But I had, I was watching a video the other day of a philosopher named Rami Osei Frimpong, and he was talking about the ways in which violence, a lot of people think that violence is something that, you have to be able to do by yourself. But like the technology of violence has been, improved upon. Like nowadays, you don't need physical muscle in order to enact violence. The tools of violence exist all around us. And, the police have a monopoly on the use of violence. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it is what it is. They have a monopoly on the use of violence. They are justified if they are afraid that you might cause them violence to kill you. Mm-hmm. And there's a wide, latitude that they have in order to demonstrate that, they are, in fact afraid for their lives. You know what I'm saying? So, but the argument he made was that, calling the police is a way to utilize violence in a high-tech way. Yeah, and we don't even acknowledge it as that. And, but like, black men really don't have the comfortability of using, the police, like you said. Like, we don't have the, like, if we got a dispute or we got an issue or a problem, we can't just say, I'm calling the police. Right. In fact, there was a brother, man, not too long ago who called the police because his wife was, attempting to stab him or some shit like that, or had already done so. He called, his son, I think, called the police. The police arrived and they ended up shooting and killing him and taking her to the fucking hospital. God damn. God damn. What part of the game is that, bro? But all I can tell you is, I can tell you this, man, like, my stomach is hitting my back, man, like, for real, like, I'm growling, it's starting to growl and shit. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. Please, I know today's show was quite long. I think I'm gonna have to start truncating these instead of doing 15 minutes of time. I'm gonna have to make like only 5 or 6 of these things.
Right.
Because this, like, I'm not doing like 3 hours of this shit no more, bro. I can't. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm exhausted right now, bro. Like, just from talking because I haven't eaten. You know what I'm saying? But if it's the case that you enjoyed today's show, you derived any benefit from it at all, consider a membership to the Green Gorilla channel. Consider a super chat, a donation on the Cash App, so I can get me some motherfucking Chick-fil-A or something, because I am hungry as a motherfucker. I'm about to hit the bricks, man, and turn this AC on so when I come back, it's going to be cool. And I've been trying to save money on my utilities. It ain't really even hot outside now, so. But, hold on. She said, no, she stabbed him and he died. They showed up and cuffed the dying man. That's fucked up, bro. She was arrested after the fact. I heard that they took her to the hospital or something like that.
Right. But, so, again, this reinforces the idea of what I'm saying. Shout out to the Raw's perspective. I see you. Raw's perspective. So,
yeah, Ray S, what's going on, man? I know I done cursed you out a million times, but don't, he ain't trolling today, so I'm gonna lay off Ray S, man.
So, yeah, if you wrong and the police come and aid you in your wrongness, are you really wrong? My new phrase, and if you hear anybody else say this, they stole it from me, is just because you're right doesn't mean you're gonna win, which is kind of an offshoot of, would you rather be right? And some people would rather be right than win. So, but what I'm saying is, that's where we live, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So, we look at this stuff as, oh my God, how could this happen? It's not fair. Motherfucker, we've been dealing with this shit all our lives. Everyone has some sort of preferential advantage over us. There's nobody we can call that will show up and take our side no matter what.
And that's fucked up, man. But let me just say this, man. I want to give a special shouts out to Salty Balls, the MS Delta guy, to Mr. O with the info.
Right.
To Dub Will. Thank you so much for supporting the Green Gorilla today, man. Straight up, man. You guys, man.
Let me shout out. Shout out to Spain, man. Shout out to Indigo. I see you. Toya. What's going on? Reynolds, I see you. You know, again, shout out to Reyes. You know, there's a few people in here that jump on my stream, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be on tonight. We're gonna be talking about SBE. Shame, blame, and
explain, man. Shout out to Adrian Hicks. He just hit me up with the Chick-fil-A fund. Shout out to that brother, man. Yeah, I'm about to roll over to the Chick-fil-A right now. You feel me what I'm saying? I'm about to get, like, I ain't gonna get much though, because I don't like to eat a whole lot of fast food and shit, but a spicy chicken sandwich sound real good right about now. I ain't gonna even lie, son.
They saying you always hungry though.
Shit, well, let me put it this way. The time where I do shows is usually a time where I'm spending a lot of time doing shows. Like, I try to eat every 3 hours, man. I don't know about you. Don't you eat that often?
No.
You eat once a day?
I do. Right now I'm doing that. I typically do the intermittent thing. That's what I typically do if I'm not fasting for days. So I just did a 6-day, right? So I went from the 6-day to the intermittent to right now I'm doing the one meal thing. Well, yeah, yesterday I had 2 salads, but I ain't had them that far from each other. So pretty much intermittent. I haven't eaten all day. I haven't eaten breakfast or none of that shit. So shout out to Aaron Peters. I see you, and Adrian Hicks. Shout out to you, Adrian Hicks. He gave you some Chick-fil-A funds. So shout out to Adrian.
Shout out to Adrian, man. And look, let me just say this, okay? So look, there's one day out of the week where I don't eat for 24 hours.
Right.
Okay. But that's one day. The rest of the time, but I don't eat a lot of food when I do eat. You know what I'm saying? Like I try not to, like eat a lot of sugary shit. Like, I don't drink soda. I don't eat chips. I have broken the rule. Like, the other day I cheated and shit. I did some shit I shouldn't have done, man. You know what I'm saying? I went to motherfucking Insomnia Cookies, man. Got them snickerdoodle cookies and shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, I typically I don't eat potato chips and shit like that. I just don't do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, fuck it. Like, I'll cheat. But I don't drink soda. I really don't eat fried foods for real. You know what I'm saying? So I do a lot of calisthenics. I do cardio at least 50 minutes a day, that sort of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I try to keep myself fit. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get the abs to pop in, but I ain't trying to get them to pop in like to the point where it's like I'm about to starve myself. I'm not doing that, bro. I'm not about to go. If it ain't a recomposition, I'm not doing it, man. I'm not going into.
You don't have to starve yourself. What I'll tell you is right now, and it's for everybody listening to this chat, I done did abs and all this shit a million times. All you got to do is raise your protein through the fucking roof. Okay, raise your protein through the roof, and you could do the protein and fats thing, and then at some point you take the fats and you just make them super low. Protein will lean you the fuck out. I don't care. People, my body different. No, you ain't. You're a human being. Okay. Overdose on the protein and you will lean the fuck out. Okay. So
yeah, that's what I'm about to do though. I'm about to go ham with the protein. So the protein that works for me without making me sick is isolate protein. You know what I'm saying? That I think it's called Dimatized ISO. That shit works good for me. Some shit does not work good for me. I got lactose intolerance, so whey concentrate don't work for me. You know what I'm saying? So so I'll take 2 scoops of that shit, which is 50 grams at a time. know what I'm saying? I'll take that shit like twice a day and then eat 3 times a day on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Chicken or beef. You know what I'm saying? And pork really, you know, ain't a lot of protein. It's protein in it, but it ain't a lot of grams of protein in pork. So I don't too much fuck with it. But I got some chicken breasts in the refrigerator right now. I'm gonna eat that shit later on tonight. I'm gonna sear them motherfuckers on both sides. I gotta marinate it before I sear it though. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be eating that shit later on this evening.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? So, you know, raising your protein, you know what I'm saying, bringing the fat down closer to when you want to look lean. Also, you know, as you get closer, you know, eventually you got to drop the salt too, because the salt will cause you to hold water. But yeah, Reyes said protein and cruciferous vegetables. That's what I do. I'm big on you know, the Brussels sprout or broccoli, or, you know, like I got a bunch of, like I got this mix of greens in his, like kale and a bunch of other shit, right? So that's how I'll eat for straight months, right? But, you know, when you're picking out your whey protein, you know, whether it be whey or whether it be the beef protein or whatever type of protein you pick, man, you want to pick something where the carb count is slim to none. Carb count slim to none. If you can get something fat free, like, you know, we talk about protein isolates. If you can get something that has no carb, no fat in it, right? Which, you know, you got your isopures, you got your muscle med carnivore, which is what I use. You know, when you got stuff like that, man, that's what, you know, everything is about the back label, that nutrition facts label. Forget about what it says on front. You want to get rid of all of the sugar and as much, get it as low fat as you can when it comes to you know, your proteins. Yeah, depending on, as she said, isopures grows depending on the flavor you get.
But
But
that Dymatize, let me show you this shit. This shit ain't bad, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like it's not bad. It only comes in like 1.7 pounds, you know what I'm saying, which is not a lot. I mean, ideally you would want to be able to get like 4 or 5 pounds of the shit, you know what I'm saying? But like the price of protein really actually has increased over the
pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic, like that shit is going through the roof. But this shit right here is really, to be quite honest, this shit right here is not bad.
You know what? I've had that before. But shout out to Adrian Hicks. He says, you know, with the super chat, y'all making me feel bad for putting on this slab of ribs, right?
Oh, but don't get it twisted. If you got some ribs on the slab, I will fuck around and eat them bitches.
Yes. This is the thing, Adrian. It's not, and this is why I tell people, like, because I hear people say they don't eat a lot. It ain't about how much you eat all the time. It's about what you're eating and how much calories is in it. Now, Adrian, you know, to be honest, when you're trying to cut or bulk or whatever, like, it's carbs that you got to get rid of, and there's no carbs in beef. So, you know, if you want to eat them ribs, go right ahead. It depends on what you putting on the side of it. So you eating protein and fats, but then you throw carbohydrates on the plate next to it.
Potato salad. The beans ain't really a problem, but you know, black people, you know how we do beans. We put motherfucking ton of motherfucking brown sugar in that shit.
Right.
So we eating candied beans for real. Like that's how we eat our beans though. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We put brown sugar in our beans, regular sugar in our beans, and then, you know, mustard, put some, you know, like we put a whole bunch of shit in there with extra calories into it. Now, I love motherfucking brown sugar, motherfucking baked bean. I love it. I like the way it tastes. But it all depends on what phase I'm in. Like if I'm trying to bulk up, I don't give a fuck because I'm slim by nature. I'm an ectomorph. Typically, I'm 6'3", 215. But right now, I'm like about 205. You know what I'm saying? And I got to get slimmer and slimmer. Now, I want to bulk up, but, you know, I'm not going, man, I'm 50, I'm what, 52, man. I'm not going to hurt myself trying to bulk up, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to do that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, like I said, man, I can get up, man. I can do about, man, between 12 to 15 pull-ups and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got upper body strength, lower body strength, so I feel like I'm good. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna try to break myself. I'm not gonna try to deadlift motherfucking 675 pounds like that chick did. I'm not doing all that.
No, that ain't necessary.
I'm not about to be doing all that.
I've never been a power lifter. I've always been, more of a
hypertrophy.
Yeah, aesthetic, or like, more bodybuilding, like bodybuilder side. I've always been on the bodybuilder side, not the powerlifting side. Yeah, man. So that, I do a lot of calisthenics now. I got this little bench here, so as soon as I jump off of here, I'm about to press these weights over here. But yeah, man, I've been more on the bodybuilding side than the powerlifting side. So for me, it's less about me lifting up some ridiculous number, one time, and more about, getting the shoulder in, and the chest in, and the back in, and you know what I'm saying, the abs abbing, because it's hot out here and these pools is open, and shit like that.
That's what I want. I don't want to look like a motherfucking a fucking marathon runner, but I want to look a little better than a surfer. You know what I'm saying? I'm a wide receiver. That's my body type, man. I'm not no motherfucking tight end. You know what I'm saying? I'm a wide receiver. That sort of shit. So, but anyway, man, y'all be good, man. I will holler at you people, man, probably next Monday, man. You know what I'm saying? It's almost my birthday, so I'm ready to, turn this leaf over, man. You feel me? But y'all be good, man. Y'all do y'all thizzle, man. Thank you for joining us on this Short Bus Saturday, man. I'll see y'all next week, bro. Peace.
Hey, before we go, live from Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
It's Saturday Night Live. Shane Blame and Explain. I'm gonna be talking my shit tonight. I ain't gonna promise 2 weeks in a row, but we gonna be on tonight. So if you ain't watching somebody get beat up on pay-per-view, you can fuck with me. I'll be on.
For sure, man. Hey, look, y'all be peaceful, man. Be good. I'll holler at y'all on the next joint, man, But the next time I do this, man, I'm going to pare it down. It's not going to be 3 hours, man. We got to get these joints to an hour long, man. Or an hour and 15, you know what I'm saying? So I'll holler at y'all, man. Y'all be good.
All right.